So hey, what's up guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we're gonna see what if Deku was teleported to Marvel's Earth-616 and was forced to survive there. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also like the video.
Izuku groaned as he came to, noticing he was in the sky and falling towards the ground. He immediately started to panic, looking around to see who he could find. He noticed that the rest of his classmates and the students in their sister class were falling as well, which was fortunate, meaning he knew everyone that was falling with him. What wasn't his fortune? 8 was that he was the only one that wasn't out cold. Rearing his arms back, he was about to use his quirk Black Whip to grab them all, when bright blue portals appeared under all of them, which they tumbled through. Only him and Uraraka were left in the sky. He quickly used Black Whip to wrap Uraraka up and pull her closer to him. When he saw a landing pad and in a single second he decided to move over to it. He grabbed it and grunted as the Black Whip went toward, stopping Uraraka from falling any further, but the strain on his arms were evident. Have to hold on, Izuku grunted, curling his arm, to try and help lower the strain of the gravity on it. You appear to be in a tight situation, can I be of some assistance? A voice asked. Who? Izuku asked before he saw someone come through the floor and turn solid. The figure was some kind of android with a dark green body, yellow cape, bracers, boots and belts. The standout feature was his dark reddish-pink face and a gem on his forehead. I am Vision, and it appears that you are in need of help, Vision said, holding out his hand. Man, that was a tough mission, Hawkeye said as he collapsed on a large couch. Hey, hang up your gear, Black Widow told him, while kicking him. I'll do it in a second, Hawkeye groaned. You don't see Tony collapsing in his Iron Man suit, or Captain in his costume. Wanda giggled as she transformed out of her costume and frowned. Where is Vision? She asked, looking around. Vision? She asked as Vision phased into the room. Hello Wanda, Vision smiled as he hugged her and gave her a small kiss. What were you up to? Hawkeye asked as he stood up. I was asking the person dangling off of the helipad if they needed help when you urgently called for me, Vision explained. What? Hawkeye shouted, looking outside and saw a hand was slipping. Nat. Tell Rhodey, Spidey or Tony about what's happening. He rushed outside. Hang on kid, he shouted as he skidded the last few meters just as the hand let go. Looking down he got a shock. Izuku. He exclaimed as he was bracing himself against the roof. Izuku gulped before Vision looked up and went back in. No wait. He shouted. He was not going to be able to hold on any longer. And he had no idea when Ochako was going to wake up. His fingers were slipping off the edge of what he was holding onto. Come on Izuku, just hold on, he muttered, filling his fingers loose more and more grip. Hang on kid, a voice shouted, allowing Izuku to have hope. Only to have that dashed as Izuku's fingers fully let go. As he felt gravity start to pull him down, someone grabbed his hand. Izuku, the voice shouted, making Izuku look up, seeing in shock. Hawkeye. He exclaimed. Okay, I have several questions, but I'm not going to ask them while you are hanging off the side of Avengers Tower. Hawkeye exclaimed. What? Izuku asked, shocked. That means. Where is that support? Hawkeye shouted. It's coming. Black Widow said, looking over the edge. Hey, she simple said. Hi, Izuku said. Nat. Hawkeye snapped. Oh, right, sorry, Black Widow said. I see a problem here, and that is. The guys asked. We need Izuku's other hand, Nat said. Crap, they said. Hang on Wanda, I'm at the tower now, Rhodey told Wanda. They should be on the northern side, under the landing pad, Wanda said. Yeah, I see them. Wait, who is that dangling off the building? Rhodey asked. I don't know, but it looks like Clint can't hang on anymore, Wanda said. Understood, Rhodey said, flying up and looking at the situation. Clint. Hey Rhodey, help us get these two up, Hawkeye shouted. Okay, I got it. Wait, is that Uraraka and Midoriya? Rhodey asked. Yeah, we're not sure what's going on here. Hawkeye shouted. Clint, Rhodey said, pointing to his ear, rolling his eyes. Hawkeye tapped his communicator. Better? Hawkeye asked. Yeah, Rhodey said as he shook Uraraka, making her groan. 5 more minutes, she groggily said before realizing she was dangling in midair thanks to Black Whip and P. Rose added to yelp and cling to the energy rope. Whoa, what happened? We don't know. Izuku shouted down. Deku. Uraraka called out before using her quirk to float up, making it easier for Hawkeye to pull Izuku onto the platform. Once they were safe, the two younger heroes embraced each other. "You're okay, right?" Izuku asked. "Yeah," Uraraka nodded, smiling. "That's great and all, but how and why are you guys here?" Hawkeye asked. "We're not sure," Izuku said. "Then what happened?" Rhodey asked. "One moment," Black Widow said, pulling out her identity card. "There are a few of us missing," she frowned, sending out a message to the ones not there. "Wolverine on your left," Captain America shouted as he threw his shield into a Sentinel Hound. The newly reformed Unity Division had gotten wind of an attack by Trask Industries on a mutant orphanage, so they deployed quickly to see that a new class of Sentinel had been deployed. These new Sentinels were wolf-like in appearance. "Thanks, Cap," Wolverine said as he shredded it to bit. Wolverine looked around and saw that the other members of the Unity Division, being Falcon, Sunfire, Psylocke, Gambit, Tigra, Captain Marvel and Polaris. Once they were done, Alaris and Tigra went to check on the kids. "That was tough," Gambit said. "Indeed, we've never faced any kind of Sentinel like that before," Psylocke frowned. "And that is what is troubling me," Captain said. Before he turned to Falcon, "You seemed distracted earlier in the fight," he said. "There was something messing with my radar. I got 40 energy pulses on it before they vanished," Falcon explained before a beeping was heard. The Avengers pulled out their ID cards and looked. "Nat wants us back at the tower." "It must be bad," Captain said. "Logan, we're needed back at the mansion," Polaris said, showing him her communicator. "Something big must be going on." Wolverine frowned. "This better be important," Iron Man said, slightly annoyed as he landed on the landing pad and walked into the main area of Avengers Tower as his suit was removed. As he walked along to the entrance, "I was about to close a deal in Detroit." "Why Detroit?" Falcon asked. "Oh, I'm opening up a new division of Stark Transportation there," Tony said. "Nice," Captain said as he walked in next to Tony. "How's the Unity Division?" Tony asked. "Good, we stopped an attack by new Sentinels," Captain said as he pressed the down button. Carol and Greer stayed behind. "Since the X-Men were called back." "I wonder what it is," Tony said. "Probably something big," Falcon muttered. Soon they walked into the main area and saw the Avengers talking. "Okay, what is it?" Tony asked, slightly annoyed. "We have guests," Hawkeye shrugged. "Seriously, that's why you called us in?" Falcon asked. "Yeah, we figured you wanted to see them." Wanda sighed. "Them?" Cap asked. "Yeah, this way," Nat said as she walked out of there. In a different area of the living space, Izuku and Ochako looked at the ground, unable to comprehend things, like how they came to the world of heroes who saved their world from the threats from this one. Izuku was muttering and mumbling, trying to figure it out, with Ochako just looked at her hands. "So, what is the big mystery all about?" E2 teens heard Tony asked, making them pay attention. "Here it is, or rather there," Nat said as Izuku stood up. "Wait, Izuku," Falcon asked. "What are you doing here?" Cap asked. He wasn't surprised he got silence in return. "Want to explain, Clint?" Tony asked. "Hey, we just came home from dealing with AIM, when next thing we know, Vision is telling us that someone is dangling over the side of Avenue Anger's tower, and we find out it's these two," Hawkeye explained. "And it wasn't just us that came here," Ochako said, finally speaking up. "Who else did?" Cap asked. "Our class, and our sister rival class," Izuku told him. "For a total of 40 students, Nat said, making Falcon realize something. "Steve, those energy pulses I picked up," Falcon started. "Were the kids, and they could be anywhere in the world right now." Cap gasped, realizing. "That's it, I'm call in everyone," Tony said, making everyone shocked. "Really?" Nat asked. "I'm sorry you don't think 40 kids from a world we went to in order to stop Dr. Doom from taking cosmic power. Suddenly showing up here isn't an all-hands-on-deck situation," Tony responded. "Good point," Hawkeye nodded. "The next question is, where is all of your other classmates?" Cap asked. "How did I get into this situation?" Toru asked as she was holding on to a big blue ring ad. She looked down, flinching before looking back up at the sky. "That is a long way down," she said, whimpering, her eyes closed. Suddenly she heard something below her. "Geez, Johnny sure did order a lot. What is that hothead planning now?" The thing said, getting out of the fantasy car with some groceries. The voice made Toru light up. Mr. Grimm, she shouted. Oh hey Toru, the thing replied as he walked inside and set the bags he had in his arms down before realizing and rushed back out. Toru, he exclaimed as he saw the girl hanging off the logo of the team on the side of the building. Yo Ben, you got everything? Johnny asked as he walked out, and what are you staring at anyway? He asked. D frowning before the thing made him look up and see where Toru was. Is that? Yep, the thing nodded. We have to get to her down. Johnny said. No shit genius. Toru and the thing shouted. This made Toru's grip slip a little bit, causing the two to be worried. So how do we get her down? Reed and Sue are still at the park. Herbie can't hold her weight, and you try and catch her, she breaks bone. And if I fly up to get her, she'll have some third-degree burns. Johnny frowned. We have to think of something. The thing said. Maybe Reed has an invention or something that we can use to get her down, or maybe open a window, Johnny said. That's the R&D area, the windows don't open, thing snapped. Hey Toru, can you climb up? Johnny asked, making the thing face palm and groan. Not really. Toru cried back. The thing was still trying to think when he looked left. Kiss, the thing muttered. Really, at this time? Johnny asked. Not that kind kiss. It's something Sue say to Reed. Keep it simple stupid. Thing said as he jabbed his thumb at the Fantasticar. That would work, Johnny said as he jumped into it, and started it up, moving it so the rear faced Toru. Whereupon getting up to her. Toru looked down and then at Johnny. Is it safe? She asked. Yeah it is, just me, if it can hold Ben's weight then it certainly will hold yours, Johnny told her. Toru nodded and slowly put her foot on the B. Ack of it, there you go, Johnny softly said before she did the same with the other one and quickly slid into the seat. Once she was in, Johnny quickly landed the Fantasticar and got out, running to the back and helping her out. What were you doing up there? Johnny asked. Hang on Johnny, we need to do something first, the thing said. Yeah, tell Reed, Johnny sighed. Actually, the thing frowned, picking up Toru, walking inside with her. Once they were inside, the thing put Toru on the couch, draped her with a hand-knitted blanket. She needs to calm down, so she'll need my Aunt Petunia's hand-knitted blanket. Some jasmine green tea and a compilation of cute cat videos, the thing said. Really? Johnny asked. Yeah, it helps all right, the thing said before seeing Toru was calming down and smiling. Then he pulled Johnny to the side. We need to tell Reed about this. I agree, otherwise who knows what will happen, Johnny said. So yeah, we need to tell Reed and Sue about this. Tell me about what? Reed asked as he walked in, a frown on his face. You're back early, Johnny said, making Ben sigh. Yeah, I got a call from Steve and asked me to help with something. Reed headed for his lab. Oh hell. Oh Miss Hagakuri, he said, walking past her, rolling up his sleeves, only to stop and walk back. Hello, Toru waved. Well, I see what you wanted to tell me, Reed sighed. And it also makes sense about W. Hat Falcon sent me. He rushed to the lab. Meaning? Johnny asked. Meaning that we're going to try and locate the other hero students that came with you by examining your quirk factors and multiversal resonance, Stark said. How would we do that? Izuku asked. Well, thankfully we got some research on them thanks to Hank McCoy, so it should be easy to find them, Stark said. As for your multiversal resonance, there is a theory that different universes vibrate at different frequencies. So if we can figure that out, we can make a machine that can lock onto those vibrations and presto, we have your classmates, Hawkeye explained. It won't be as easy as that, but close to it, especially with Reed working on it, Stark said. Maybe we should ask Dr. McCoy to join in, Captain said. That wouldn't be a bad idea, Stark said. I'll contact him, Nat said, rushing off. At the X-Mansion, Beast was taking a moment for himself, enjoying a cup of coffee, a good book and the sound of Mozart in the background. He sipped his drink and sighed in delight. Nothing like a classic, Beast smiled. Robinson Crusoe? Natasha asked, making Beast look up. Robert Louis Stevenson actually, Beast remarked. So what can I help the Avengers with today? You remember the world we went to stop Doom and his forces? Nat asked, leaning on a bench. Ah yes, the world we coined Earth-616 inches, Beast smiled. We got students from the world. Here, Nat sternly said. So it wasn't just those two, Beast frowned. Those two? Nat asked. Indeed, the students Hanta Siro and Mina Ishido are here, Beast stated. Where are they now? Nat asked. Still in our medical bay. They have yet to wake up. Beast sighed, rubbing his eyes as he remembered what happened. A few hours ago, Jean was out by the pool of the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, It was a nice sunny day and she didn't have any classes to teach, so she laid by the pool while Jubilee and Kitty swam laps. Hey Miss Gray, Jubilee waved at her. Hello girls, Jean said sitting on one of the sun lounges, day off. Kitty asked. Yeah, Scott is taking over my class, which you two should be going to. I know you are fully fledged X-Men but you guys are still students, Jean smiled. Jean, a voice shouted as the trio looked up to see two people falling and right behind them was Angel in his archangel form, using his metallic wings to speed himself up. Do you see them? He asked. Yeah I do, Jean said. Well, I am going to try and catch one of them, can you catch the other one? He asked. Piece of cake, Jean smiled. She held up her hand, and used her powers to catch the one furthest away from Archangel. She eased him into the pool gently so he floated on top, and upon seeing who it was, Kitty and Jean were shocked. Zero? Kitty asked, shocked. But what is doing here? Jean looked just as confused. You know these two? Archangel landed, placing the girl he caught on the ground. Mina? Kitty asked, checking her pulse. She's alright, just out cold. What are they doing here? Jean frowned. Are you going to tell us who they are? Jubilee asked. You remember we went to that other world under the Ultimate Alliance protocol to fight Doc Doom? Kitty asked. Yeah, Archangel nodded. He's two are from that world, Jean told them. What? They exclaimed. Present. And so they are now resting in our medical bay. How did you find out about them? Beast asked. Izuku was hanging off the balcony of Avengers Tower while hanging onto his girlfriend, she told him bluntly. Oh, Beast paused, putting his coffee cup to his mouth and turned around. Are they okay? Yes, thankfully we were able to get them up, Nat sighed. How can we be of help? Beast asked. Reed and Tony have some sort of plan to put together a scan so we can find all of the kids, Nat told him. I do still have the data from my research on quirks, Beast smiled. That will be handy. We're also trying to use multiversal frequencies and whatnot. Nat shrugged, making Beast nod as he handed over the data. Okay, here we go, Tony said. Turning on the machine and typing a command into the prompt, he watched as Stark Tech satellites scanned the globe with the new scanner module. Anything yet? Reed asked as he watched a blue line move around the globe. They were nervously waiting until something showed up, while behind them Hagakura, Izuku and Ochako looked nervous when he first ping appear, then more and more showed before they were now 40 bright blue dots in various groupings on the map. Tony shut the scanner down and looked at the map. The kids did too, as well as Reed and Captain. Now we have their locations, Reed said. Oh yeah. But a few concern me, Tony said, such as. Hagakuri asked. One is in Madripoor, one is in the Savage Land, and one of them is in Latveria, Stark said, pointing to the three locations. While the ones in America and I think Japan are the safest, Reed pointed out. So kids, Cap said, turning to the three hero students, where are we going first? He asked. Zero groaned as his hand went to his head. As pain throbbed in it, what happened? He groaned. I'm not sure, Mina said as she had just woken up as well. It was then she noticed they were no longer in Ua. The two stood up and got back to back. You're finally awake, a woman with blazing red hair walked in. The two teens got ready to use their quirks. The woman just smiled. I'm not going to hurt you, she said, holding up her hand. Oh yeah, how do we know that? Mina snapped. Because she's a friend, Beast said, walking in, making the two kids shocked. Beast, they shouted, Mina smiling as she hugged him. So we must be on your world, Zero said. Oh, sorry about being aggressive before, I'm Hanta Zero. It's okay, I'm Jean Grey, she smiled. And I'm Mina Ishido, Mina greeted them. A pleasure, and if I'm not mistaken you guys woke up just in time. Jean said. Ah yes, I believe it is time for breakfast, Beast told them. How long were we out? Mina asked. A day, Jean said as she led the two teens upstairs. Ah Jean, I take it these are the two new guests we have from the other world. A voice asked, making Zero and Mina jump and look around. They are Professor, Jean said out loud. The two were curious to her she was speaking to. When the noise of a motor entered their ears, they both looked as saw a bald man in a wheelchair, a soft smile on his face. "Greetings, my name is Professor Charles Xavier," he gently greeted them. "Welcome to the Xavier's School for the Gifted Youngsters. Think of it like UA back in your world," Beast said as he walked over. "Here we take in young mutants and teach them how to use our gifts and safely integrate them into society." Sadly, Jean said, cutting Mina off, "while there are a lot of people with powers, there's a group of them that no one wants to get involved with, and that's us, mutants." "Oh damn, it's starting to sound like the Origin Days," Zero gasped. "Origin Days?" Xavier asked. "Back when superpowers or rather quirks started showing up in our world, there were people who were scared. They formed packs and hunted down those quirk users who couldn't defend themselves, which led to the birth of one quirk user in general, the Darkness, a quirk user who appeared out of nowhere with multiple quirks he could use, and he would routinely kill all of them," Mina started. "Soon the Darkness gathered followers, those who were downtrodden and suppressed. After 6 months of the origin days of quirks came the age of villainy," Zero continued. "Eventually the Darkness was given a new name, one befitting his quirk." "All for one," Mina spat. "I see, well we can discuss this later. I'm sure you are hungry and there are a few friendly faces who want to check up on you," Xavier smiled. "Mina, Zero," Kitty shouted as she ran up to them and grabbed them in a big hug. "What are you guys doing here?" she asked. "We're not sure, we were doing a training exercise 1 minute then the next we're waking up here," Mina explained. "That's rough. Well, welcome to Xavier's and come on. Let's get some breakfast," she smiled, leading them to the dining room where hundreds of kids and teens were enjoying breakfast, goofing off and having a good time. Mina and Zero were amazed by the sight of them all. "They all have quirks. Sorry, mutations?" Zero asked. "Yeah they do," Kitty said, "and some of them have had it rough, like the heteromorphs of your world." "Oh," they said, looking nervous. "Am I?" "Not even more so, since she looked different." "Nothing wrong about being a different color, even one that not usual," an accented voice said from somewhere, making the two look nervous. "Who said that?" Zero asked as Kitty giggled. "Okay. Kurt, you can come out," she called before a cloud of smoke appeared, revealing a demon-looking man smiling. "Cool," Mina smiled. "Thank you," the man bowed. "I am Kurt Wager. Oh, by the way, those horns of yours are cute," he smiled. "Thank you," Mina blushed. "Hey Kurt, quit flirting. We have mouths to feed," Bishop shouted as he slapped Kurt on the back. "Oh, Mina and Zero right?" "Yeah," Mina smiled. "Well, time to get some grub. Come on, I'll show you the best stuff," Bishop laughed. "So who are we going after first?" Toru asked. "I'm not sure, maybe somewhere internationally," Ochako said. "Those in America, Japan and possibly Wakanda could be safe." Izuku read up on Wakanda. "What about Genosha?" Toru asked. "Mutant Haven, should be safe," Izuku said. "Okay, so we have no clue where to go next." Ochako frowned. "Nope," the other two said. "Still haven't decided, huh?" Ben asked as he walked in. "Nope," the trio sighed. "Damn," Ben said, looking at the globe. "We're leaving here, Japan. Wakanda and Genosha to last," Izuku said. "And it would be easier if we knew who was where," Ochako sighed. "Hang on, I think I might have an idea how to do that." "Ochako, do you still have your phone on you?" Izuku asked as Ochako produced a pink flip phone. "What good will that do?" Ben asked. "All hero students at UA have an app on their phone, which when used allows us to get in contact with other students. Now since we have our phones, we can upload that app into the system and..." Izuku started. "We can use it to find out who is where, prioritizing them." Izuku. "You're a genius," Ochako cheered, making Izuku go red in the face. "Solid plan, kids," Reed smiled as he overheard. "So shall we?" "And there, we should have access to be able to tell who is where in the world in about 30 seconds, Stark said. "This is it," Izuku whispered as Ochako held his hand in hope. Toru looked at the globe and saw it was scanning, then nothing showed up. The trio looked defeated. "I guess this is it," Toru sighed as she walked off. The others doing the same. Izuku just stayed looking at the map when a beep was heard. Looking up, he saw that the map was now showing his location. Before it added Ochako, Toru, Mina and Zero in America. After that, all of them showed up on it. It worked. Izuku whispered before, it worked. He shouted, making everyone rush in, and saw that there were names and pictures with each dot on the map. We can find them. Ochako cheered. Indeed, let's see. Reed said, switching from a holographic globe to a standard map. We may have to get others involved to save them. Tony frowned. Yeah, especially since one of them are indeed in Latveria, Reed scowled. The young heroes looked nervous. Who is it? Toru asked. It says Eijiro Kirishima, Reed read out. Okay, not the Ho. T-head then. Toru nodded. Where is Bakugo anyway? Ochako asked. London, Tony said as he brought up the UK. Looks like Kodai and Jiro are there as well, Izuku pointed out. Meanwhile in China is Yaoyoro. Zu and Kendo, Ochako pointed out. Koda in Wakanda, Toru said as she looked around. Oh, Ojiro is in Canada with Kamikiri and Todoroki, Izuku said. Mineta's in Japan, Uraraka nodded, along with Monoma and Saburaba. Hang on, there are two more in America, Shiozaki and Tsunemori. Izuku said. Aoyama is in France, Hagakure pointed out, and in Italy we have Hiryu Ren and Sato. Iida, Su, Yanagi and Shishida are in Australia, Izuku said. Tokiyami, Awase and Kaibara are in the oceans of Africa. Toru asked. Okay, so they'll be safe, that isn't the ocean but rather Genosha. Tony said. Tokage is in Savage Land and Tetsu is in Madripoor, Izuku frowned. That's all we have for now, Reed frowned as he looked. Some of them are missing, Izuku realized. But how? Ochako asked, feeling dread in her system. They were found before we could use this and it wasn't by anyone good, Hagakure realized. I think we should find the captured students, Reed said. No kidding, but we have no idea where EY could be, Tony sighed. Then we look, Hawkeye said. Clint, this is a bit more complex than we just search for them, Tony snapped. Do you think they could be in places like Atlantis, Eidolon, Asgard? Hawkeye asked. Probably, Tony said. We need more data, Reed said. Okay, for now let's find these two girls. Shiozaki and Tsunemori, since they're in America, Hawkeye said, they'll be the easiest to find. Good idea, the scientist said. Meanwhile in Canada, Ojiro, Kamikiri and Todoroki were walking in a blizzard. Todoroki's fire quirk giving them some heat and light, but it wasn't enough. We need to find shelter. Ojiro shouted over the howling winds. And where is that genius? Kamikiri asked as he was blown back by a savage gust, the polar air figuratively cutting him to the bone. Anywhere. Ojiro shouted back when they heard a growl. Looking behind them they saw nothing. And now we have to deal with snow monsters. Kamikiri shouted. Todoroki looked around and saw a dead tree. Rush in. He tried to ignite it with his quirk, hoping the light from it would finally reveal it. Once it worked they saw what was hunting them, a massive white-furred monster. The three boys were terrified of it. The monster smirked as it stomped towards them. What is that? Kamikiri shouted as he got his blade out. The monster was about to attack when a feminine shouted was heard and a girl their age landed on the back of the monster, making it roar out in pain. She jumped off and rolled across the snow, glaring at the monster. The girl stood up and flicked her wrists out, making a set of twin claws pop out of each hand. She roared again and jumped at the monster, who swiped at her. She kicked the monster's arm and flicked out a foot claw, stabbing the monster with it and landing. Then she whirled around, slicing the beast's legs, making him fall to the snow. Once it was down, she reached into a bag and pulled out a vial which she injected into the monster, making it turn into a man. Stop it, Weapon X, she scoffed as she stood up and saw the three UA Hero Course students. Stupid tourists, what are you doing out here? She asked. Not like we wanted to, Kamikiri scoffed. Be nice to the IRL who just kicked that monster's ass, Ojiro sighed. I agree, but tell me, do you know someone named Wolverine? Todoroki asked. He's my father, the girl said. How do you know him? The girl asked. He came to our world and helped us out. Now looks like the reversed happened, Todoroki explained. Fine, follow me, the girl said as she led them somewhere. After what seemed like ages the four came to a log cabin. The girl walked up to the door and put her thumb above the doorknob, which scanned it. Welcome Laura, a computerized voice said. Laura then opened the door, turning to the other three. Get in, she said as the three students walked in. Now while it seemed like a log cabin on the outside, it was more high-tech on the inside. This is, Ojiro said. I know, high-tech, Laura said walking over to a terminal and typing something in. So who are you? Shoto Todoroki. Todoroki stepped up making Laura stop her typing and then frowned as she checked something. Masharao Ojiro, Ojiro said. Quote. And I'm Togaru Kamikiri. Kamikiri nodded. Laura then nodded. Ooh, a student's right. How did? Todoroki asked. I just looked it up on the X-net. Mainly details about the Ultimate Alliance protocol. How? They went to a different and helped out a school of heroes. Your names were included in the report, Laura told them. Gotta say coming to a new world is a ballsy move. Well, we didn't mean or want to. Come here, Kamikiri snapped. Obviously, Laura scoffed. So where are we? Ojiro asked. Canada, Laura told them before she got an alarm. She looked and cursed. Sentinel, she snapped. Sentinel. The UA. Students asked, both confused and terrified. A mutant hunting machine, created to eradicate the mutant race, Laura growled. I see, Todoroki grimaced and walked out. He walked a bit and saw the Sentinel land. A giant red and purple android with a face. Mutant DNA detected. It called out. Huh, this is it. Todoroki asked unimpressed as he walked up to it. That idiot, Laura seethed. He's going to get himself. Heaven-piercing ice wall. Todoroki shouted, making a massive wall of ice spikes, which passed through the Sentinel, ripping it in two. Killed, Laura finished as the two halves of the Sentinel crashed to the ground. Whoa, she gasped. Yeah, it is something to see for the first time, Ojiro said nodding, and be lucky you're on this side of it. This side? Laura asked nervous. Trust us. It's not pretty, Kamikiri said, especially when you've got an ice spike an inch from your face and you feel how cold it is. I'll take your word about it, Laura frowned as she tapped it with one of her claws. Let's go, Todoroki shivered as his body was covered in frost. Whoa, the other two UA students shouted as they caught Todoroki before he collapsed. You used too much ice, Ojiro exclaimed. We have to get you warmed up quicker than your flames, Kamikiri frowned. Follow me, Laura led them back to the shack. So you just have a hot tub? Ojiro asked. This place does, it's good for warming up after missions in the snow, Laura said as she checked on something. So how long do we leave him in there? Kamikari asked. Until he's defrosted. Now you will tell me more about what happened and how you got here, Laura said. We're not sure. 1 minute we're on our Earth doing a shared training exercise when a bright light shone above, then next thing I know I'm landing face first in the snow, Ojiro explained. It was the same for the rest of us, Kamikiri said. Interesting, maybe I can contact the other X-Men and ask them about what happened, Laura said as she sat down at a computer. May we also find the rest of us, Ojiro frowned. Back at the X-Mansion, Beast was overlooking the geographical data he got from Avengers Tower when a comlink opened. Checking it, he noticed it was from Laura. Something must have happened, Beast frowned as he opened the link. Laura, is everything okay? He asked. I'm fine, just found something weird, Laura said frowning. Define weird, my dear, Beast sighed. As he looked over the data more and noticed that something changed on it. He looked at the Canada section on the map and zoomed in on it, noticing that the trio of dots, two of them were closer together. A trio of meta-mutants. They say they're from another Earth, Laura scoffed, making Beast's attention switch from the map to the call. What are their names? Beast asked. Masharao Ojiro, Shoto, Todoroki and Tagore Kamikiri, Laura said. Wait, are they from that world? Yes, they area. I'll send a team up there to bring them back here. Beast said. You better hurry, Laura said. Why, what's the problem? Beast asked. Hey Hank, you might want to check the news, Rogue said, flying in and showing the news where a Sentinel was shown with a giant glacier in the middle of it. Oh, Rogue, prepare tea. He X-Jet please, we have some friends to retrieve, Beast requested. Yep, that's Todoroki's handiwork no doubt, Ochako said. That's the guy who uses fire and ice, right? Hawkeye asked. Yeah it is, Toru nodded. I could melt that, Johnny scoffed. Really? Ben asked. Yeah, my flames are hotter than the sun, remember, Johnny laughed. Easy hothead, Hawkeye said. I'm more concerned about what that is going to signal, Hawkeye said. The robot? Izuku asked. Yeah, That is the last thing someone from your world will want to get in the sights of. Ben frowned. Why? Toru asked. It would hunt you down Unti. It's destroyed or you're killed, Tony said. It's called a sentinel. It was created to kill anyone with the mutant X gene. Which our quirk factors could be seen as. Izuku frowned. Exactly, Tony said, as he continued to try and get exact locations. What people fail to see is that this glacier could be the aftermath of a mutant using its powers, which is even more reason for the Sentinel program Obi refunded and re-established to make sure that we are well protected. Sure, there are those like the Avengers who have extra human capabilities, but they are unlikely to deal with the mutant problem. This is a given, proven. They've created the Unity Division, which I warned the president about, but it fell on deaf ears. Make no mistake, it will only be a matter of time until we are exterminated by them, someone spoke on the news. Blow it out of your ass, Bolivar, Tony scoffed. The Sentinel program was a mistake, plus if he reactivates it, then who knows what is going to happen. Apparently first daughter is a mutant, so no way is President Ellis going to. Izuku, are you okay? Tony asked, realizing that there was something wrong with Izuku. The girls turned and noticed that he was looking at the screen with a mixture of fear and fury showing on his face. Izuku? Okako asked nervously. What is he doing here? Izuku asked, making one for all activate and give off sparks. Who are you talking about? Tony asked. Bolivar Trask. I mean, sure, he's a prick, but nothing to be too concerned of. I don't know who Bolivar Trask is, but I recognize all for one when I see him, Izuku scowled. Everyone gathered in that room stopped and looked at the image of Bolivar Trask. Ochako and Toru recoiled in fear. We heard that Doom killed him, so how could he be here? Ochako whimpered. I don't know, Izuku scowled. Tony noticed that there was something dark in the tone of voice Izuku was using to describe Bolivar Trask. He would look into it further, but right now he needed to figure out how the boogeyman of their world was the same guy who wanted to eradicate those with the X gene and was not sure what conclusion to come up with. Hang on, didn't Wolvie nearly gut a scientist from our world because he resembled someone here? Johnny asked, making Tony go wide-eyed. A variant, all for one, is Bolivar Trask's variant on that world, Tony said. Does that mean there are more people who could be variants from our world? Toru asked. And if they are, who are they? Izuku asked, frowning. It was a good day for one Franklin, Foggy, Nelson. There were plenty of cases coming into Murdoch and Nelson. He had a great night last night with his girlfriend Macy, and his best friend Matt was able to get some sleep. Not that he has anything against him being the devil of Hell's Kitchen. And there were times he was worried for Matt, like that time he and several other heroes went to another world to fight the dictatorial monarch of Latveria. Thankfully Matt returned unscathed. Suddenly Foggy heard something in a nearby ally. Hello? He asked nervously, is anyone there? He asked before he saw a mass of vines, which had a young woman buried in them. Hey, you okay? He asked, panicked. Only to hear her speak something that wasn't English, but he knew it was Japanese due to all the times Matt muttered it. Okay, that will make things harder, he muttered before pulling out his phone, spoke into it, then it spoke Japanese. The girl who Foggy guessed was a mutant nodded and then, thank you very much, sorry I didn't speak English before. I was very frightened, she said in heavily accented English. I am Abara. I'm Foggy. If you want I can take you somewhere to clean up and get you some food, Foggy said before a bell rang, making Abara pay attention. Oh, that's the local church. You have churches here? Abara asked. Yeah, we do. Are you Christian? Foggy asked. I am. Abara nodded. Great, you have a lot to choose from, Foggy said, leading her off. Morning, Foggy, Karen smiled as she filed some paperwork. You heard from Matt? She asked. He'll be here soon. He actually slept. Foggy smiled as Abara followed him in. She saw Karen and froze before asking something in Japanese. Who's this? Karen asked. I'm not sure. I just met her alone and scared in the alleyway, Foggy told her. And the toga? Karen asked. I'm not sure, Foggy shrugged. Okay, I'll take her to get cleaned up and give her some fresh clothes. Meanwhile you tell Matt when he gets in, maybe he can help since he speaks Japanese, Karen said. Good idea, Foggy nodded and then spoke into the translation app. Abara nodded and followed Karen. Once they were out of the room, Foggy let out the breath he was holding and quickly looked at something. He was worried that someone saw the girl before he did and reported it to the MRDs. He clenched his fist as he and Matt had tried to get the MRD shut down for all sorts of horrid things. Heck, Jen joined in as well, sadly could shut them down as they are supposedly edited to handle high threat level mutants. Foggy scoffed at that. High level threats. If the MRD had their way, they would reactive the Sentinel program. Though S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers would quickly shut that down. One of the major things that changed was the formation of the Avengers Unity Division, which was a mix of Avengers and X-Men. Matt walked into the office. He sensed Foggy's irritation and rage. He put his stuff down, started up his devices, grabbed a coffee and sat down. "Rough morning?" he asked, smiling. "Oh hey Matt, sorry, just found this girl in an alley. I'm thinking she might be a mutant." Foggy sighed. "What gave you that idea?" Matt asked. "Her hair, man. I mean, how else is a kid supposed to have thorny vines for hair?" Foggy sighed, catching Matt's attention. "Is this girl Japanese by any chance?" Matt asked. "Yeah, she is." "How did you know?" Foggy looked confused. "Well, this is different. You remember when I left with that group of heroes?" Matt questioned. "I do. Heck, we were worried sick about you, man," Foggy cried. "Well, the world we went to was incredible, Foggy. Picture it. People with powers walking the streets freely, even those who didn't look human," Matt said. "It sounds great. But how does that relate to the girl with vine hair?" Foggy asked. "She's from that world, Foggy," Matt said, shocking him. "Bullshit," Foggy said before Karen and Abara walked back in. "Abara, we ring a pale pink shirt and some blue leggings." "Mr. Murdoch." Abara rushed over and quickly hugged him. "Shiozaki, what are you doing here and how did you get here?" "I'm not sure. I was partaking in a training mission with my classmates in Class 1A. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in an alleyway," she said softly, "but I'm not sure how Pixie Bob got here as well." She frowned, confused. "Pixie Bob?" Matt asked. "That woman over by the door. She looks like Pixie Bob." Abara frowned. Matt looked up and saw Karen. Then it suddenly clicked for him in a way it hadn't before. From what he heard, there were no versions of the heroes over there, but what if they were and they didn't know of it? "That's Karen Page. She's a good friend of mine. Now the reason she looks like Pixie Bob is because she technically is," Matt said. "What are you guys talking about?" Foggy asked. "It seems that Karen has a variant on this girl's world," Matt sighed. "Wait, variant, isn't that what you guys call different versions of people in the multiverse?" Karen asked. "Pretty much," Matt nodded. "Oh," Foggy said. "Well then." Foggy nodded. "Shoji," Tokiyami shouted as she bolted up and looked around. He could actually feel sweat on his feathers. "Where am I? Where are the others?" he asked, looking around. He saw people walking around the area, but what was amazing to him was that heteromorphs were there as well, the POPLE around them, not caring about the way they looked. No one was attacking them or being scared of them. In fact, it was the opposite. Everyone was getting along. "What in the world?" he asked as he walked out into the bright sunlight. He covered his eyes. "Excuse me," a kind and gentle voice asked. "Are you okay?" Tokiyami turned around to see a woman with green hair in an elegant dress walk over to him. "No, I'm not. I'm not sure where I am or where my friends are." Tokiyami growled. "You poor thing, can you remember your name?" she asked. "Fumikage Tokiyami," he said. "I'm Lorna Dane aka Polaris and you are on the island nation of Genosha." She smiled. "Come, I'll see if my father can help you. You are after all a mutant." "A mutant?" Tokiyami asked. "Yes," Polaris said. "Someone who is born with an extra chromosome on their genome giving them an ability or something. I'm guessing it gave you flight." "Not exactly, Dark Shadow," Tokiyami shouted, making Dark Shadow appeared. "Incredible, a sentient and symbiotic shadow creature. A truly rare gift indeed." Polaris was in awe as she tickled under Dark Shadow's chin, making it coo. "Hey Tokiyami," someone shouted. Tokiyami turned around and saw Awase and Kaibara. They ran over to him. Upon getting close to him, smiling, "It is so good to see a familiar face." Awase smiled. "I agree, not that this place is bad," Kaibara said. "Indeed, so how is it you came here?" Tokiyami asked. "I'm not sure. But we are here." Kaibara frowned. "Maybe my father can help," Polaris suggested. "That would be nice," Kaibara said. Fumi, Dark Shadow said. What is it? Tokiyami asked before he saw what Dark Shadow was looking at. There were two statues about 40 feet tall. One of them was a bald man wearing a suit with his arm outstretched wide, the other one was a Magneto. Tokiyami asked in shock and awe. No way, Awais gasped. Isn't that one of the guys who attacked us? Kaibara asked. You know my father. Polaris asked, you're what? Tokiyami sneered. Wait, your dad was one of the group of asshole villains who came to our world and nearly took it over. Awase looked shocked. Tokiyami growled and had Dark Shadow ready to attack Polaris. Hold on, he was what? Pole. Aris asked shocked before several large blades that were floating around the fountain now circled the group. Lorna dear, who are these ruffians? Magneto said as he walked over. Magneto, you don't recognize us from that world you attacked. Kaibara shouted. Magneto's eyes widened slightly before he smiled and drifted down. Earth-616, I believe that is the designation of your world, but I must tr. Yuli admit I am surprised to see you all here, Magneto said. So you didn't bring us here then? Tokiyami asked scowling. I did not, Magneto said as he moved the blades closer. Father. Polaris warned. Do not worry Lorna. I know what I am doing, he said as he saw other mutants gathering around. This is not good, Awase whispered. We're being surrounded, Kaibara said. I don't think we can take them all. No we can't, Tokiyami muttered, so. Take as many as you can, he shouted as Dark Shadow sprung forth, clobbering a couple of them before swinging around so he could dive bomb Magneto, who moved out of the way. Giving Awase a chance to weld Magneto's cape to the ground, he then grabbed two steel rods and fused them into a staff, using it to bash a few of the attacking mutants, ducking as Kaibara swung at a mutant in front of Awase, using his quirk to deal more damage, then he did an axe kick behind him to knock down another mutant. Scowling Magneto used his powers to make the blades He was using fly at the group of UA students. Dark Shadow grabbed two of them and struggled to hold him back. What is going on here? A voice shouted as everyone was covered in a red glow. Polaris WH. Oh wasn't glowing red turned to see a woman with long chocolate brown hair with her thigh-high red high-heeled boots clacking along the ground as she walked. Damn, Awase and Kaibara said as they saw her outfit more, which was a red leather corset, red mini shorts, a pink bodysuit underneath, her long red cape, shoulder-length gloves and a headdress. Sister, Polaris smiled and hugged her. Wanda, Magneto said. Father, Wanda scoffed before she turned to the UA students. Are you Fumikage Tokiyami, Sen Kaibara and Yotsu Awase? Yes, they all said before they were released from Wanda's magic. It is good to see you again, she said before a flash of silver appeared and a guy with silver hair appeared. These are them? He asked. Yes Pietro, these are them, she smiled. Still can't believe you missed the mission, she groaned. Blame Crystal, he smirked. Really? Anyway, I'm here to bring them to Avengers Tower, Wanda said. Why? Magneto asked. That's classified, Wanda scowled. It is. Pietro asked as Wanda elbowed him in the gut. Does it have something to do with why the Unity Division was recalled after the Sentinel battle before I came here? Polaris asked. It was, Quicksilver said. It turns out 40 students from the world you went and attacked with doom scattered over the entire Earth. Thankfully some of them landed in areas where they are able to be held safely, but others not. Scarlet Witch said before she released everyone, turning to the Force UA students. If you come with me you'll be reunited with the ones we have already located. Do we have a choice? Tokiyami asked. Not really, Awase said. I agree with the red-hot lady, Kaibara said making Tokiyami sigh. Very well, Tokiyami nodded. Wanda's Quinjet is incoming, Ochako said making the trio rush out to the hangar. They had heard that Wanda was bringing in some of their friends from Genosha. The Quinjet landed and the rear hatch opened up and revealed Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver and the three UA students, Tokiyami. Ochako shouted as they ran to meet each other. It is good to see you my friends, Tokiyami bowed as Dark Shadow wrapped them up in a hug. Hey guys, Awase smiled. It's good to see you, Kai. Bara said. I agree, Izuku shook their hands. Midoriya, are the others? Tokiyami asked. It's complicated, you were some of the easier ones to bring back. And what are we chopped liver? Mina shouted as she and Ciro walked into the hangar. Mina, Toru shouted and rushed over to her best friend, hugging her tight. Hey girl, good to see you, Mina smiled, before hugging Ochako. How complicated? Toko Kayami asked. We'll show you, Izuku said as he led the group to the ready room. The Maximoff twins just smiled. No way, the group gasped seeing the map of the UA students. We're all over the place, Kaibara said. At least most of them are in safe locations, Awase said. Say that about Setsuna, she's in the Antarctic. Kaibara exclaimed, she's actually in the Savage Land, Tony said. And Kirishima's in Latveria. Isn't that where Dr. Doom is from? Mina asked. He is, but he isn't there now, Tony sighed. Where is he? Izuku asked. You don't have to worry about that, Reed sighed. What about those in red? Kaibara asked. They're the ones we can't find yet, Tony frowned. Our best guess is that they're somewhere we haven't found yet, or they've been kidnapped, Clint said. Great, Ciro groaned. Tevan Strange entered the bowels of the Sanctum Sanctorum, walking up to a door which then an indent for something, reaching into his pocket and he pulled out a pocket watch, sliding it into the NT in the door making 4 large green rings show up. Reaching up he used magic to turn the rings that appear, so they pointed to each one of the compass points and then the door opened revealing a circle made of stained glass. Colored green, white and gray. Strange stepped on it before it lowered itself into a black void. Strange then saw a green cube on a platform made of the same stained glass floating in a void. He noticed that the individual inside the cube was staring at a chessboard. The prisoner looked up, covering in a black cloak and seemingly what appeared to be leather armor. He stood up and watched as Strange approached him. It has been some time, hasn't? Strange, the man in the cube said. What is it today? Who was I trying to stop? How did I find the Silver Surfer? What made me think I wouldn't be stopped? I am tired of the same questions over and over again, the man said, so please, enlighten me with something new. Okay. Doom, how did you bring the kids of that world to this one? Strange asked, making Dr. Doom turn to him. What kids? Doom asked. 2 groups of students were seemingly brought over to this world from their own, the world you invaded, Strange frowned. And you thought that it was me? Doom scoffed. I am brilliant, but I am not imbecilic enough to risk increasing the rate of incursion with their world. So if it wasn't you, then who would it be? Strange asked. I thought you were smart, Steven. Doom smirked under his leather mask. What are you hiding? Strange asked before he walked off. And why? Oh come on, Kirishima shouted, as he tore through another Doombot and then ran into the woods. As he caught his breath, he tried to figure out what happened. It was a standard day of training with Class 1B, Mineta tried to flirt with the girls. Only to be knocked back since a couple of them were dating. The teachers were discussing something and he was having a quick hug with Mina when a bright flash of light happened in ONC. It died down. He was in the middle of a damp forest with no one else around and an army of mechanical army of Dr. Doom, many which he had taken out. I thought Doom was imprisoned, he said as he rushed off again as 3 more showed up, which locked onto him and fired at him. Kirishima was about to use his quirk when a ball of bright blue light shot out and melted the head of one of them. That will be quite enough out of you, a voice said, as a guy with a silvery white mech suit with a blue hooded cape appeared and destroyed the other 2. He turned to face Kirishima revealing he was wearing a mask similar to Dr. Doom. You, Kirishima growled as he got ready to tear him apart. Easy Red Riot, Doom said. How do you know who I am? Kirishima asked. I am the Victor Doom of Earth-616, the Saw. Me world you are from, Doom said, but for now call me Doom 2099. What? Kirishima asked. Indeed. I will explain more when we are in a safer location, Doom 2099 said. Come, we're not safe here, yet. Okay, stop, Kirishima said as she and Doom 2099 were rushing through the forests of Latveria. He was puffing and had to rest on a tree. We will once we have crossed the border, Doom 2099 said. Where are we going anyway? Kirishima asked. The closest border to us is Simkaria, Doom 2099 said, and then once we pass the border we can rest and discuss things, such as getting you and the other UA students back to Earth-6162. Sure, but why do you call our world Earth-6162? Kirishima asked as the 2 moved on. There are multiple worlds in the Multiverse and someone decided to assign each world with an identification number. The world we're on is Earth-616 and we're from Earth-6162 inches Doom 2099 said, and currently our world is 75 years ahead of this world. So we're in the year 2024, right? Kirishima asked. Indeed, Doom 2099 nodded, though the is an Earth-616A but most people refer to that Earth as Earth-199,999 inches Doom 2099 said. Okay then, so how long until we're in Simkaria? Kirishima asked. We'll be there soon, Doom 2099 said. This is so awesome, Mineta drooled as he looked around. He saw a lot of girls in skimpy maid outfits, they were handing things out. Should we? Saburaba asked. Why should we care? If he makes Class A look bad then so what? Monoma asked. Good point, hey Mineta. Subaraba shouted. What? Mineta yelled back. Maybe we should find the others. Saburaba exclaimed. Yeah. But hot maids, Mineta said. And people wonder why he's treated badly sometimes, Monoma snidely said. I know, Saburaba sighed before the ground rumbled. That didn't sound good. What was your first clue, genius? Monoma asked as they ran to the site of the noise, Saburaba grabbing Mineta's cape and dragging him along. They soon saw a large robot going out of Entral and firing out bursts of electricity. We have to move, Subaraba shouted using his quirk to make barrier of air around the robot. Mineta jumped over the barrier and started to throw his sticky grapes, binding the robot to the ground. Is that a robotic kaiju? Monum shouted. Yes. The other two shouted. What is it doing here? Mineta asked. I don't know, but thankfully we've contained it, for now, Saburaba frowned. Suddenly a red and purple robot flew overhead. What we got, Hiro? A voice asked as Hiro flew over the robotic kaiju on the back of Baymax, who was scanning the area and feeding the data to Hiro's visor. Another one of Yoshida's cyber kaiju, Hiro scoffed. Remind me to send a note to Mariko to make sure her security is up to standards. Now Hiro, a woman's voice said. I know. Hiro rolled his eyes before zooming in. It's hitting something invisible, and what are those gumballs holding it down? He asked. You're right, me and Fred are moving in, we'll CW. Hat's preventing it from attack, a guy's voice replied. After that I'll work on some chemical embrittlement to try and get its armor off so Wasabi and Gogo can take it down, the woman's voice from before said. Good plan everyone, Hiro nodded. Hiro, I have detected mutants, Baymax said. Mutants? Where? Hiro asked as his visor showed them. Who are they? Mineta asked. I'm not S. You're. Saburaba frowned as a blonde-haired woman a couple of years older than them landed. She wore black leather pants, a red midriff jacket exposing her black bra, slung over her shoulder is a high-tech purse. Hi boys, she said. I'm Honey Lemon and I'm with Big Hero 6. We appreciate you holding back the cyber kaiju, but we need you to clear out now, Honey Lemon said. But, Monoma said as a guy who looked like a typical skateboarder rushed over to them. Fred, maybe now would be a good time to change, Honey Lemon said. Good idea, Fred said as he transformed into a blue kaiju and rammed into its skull first, cracking the armor. Honey then ran up Fred's back, pulled out a glowing ball and threw it as the crack making the surrounding armor brittle. Go, Wasabi, you're up. She shouted as a woman with high-tech yellow armor with wheels connected to her legs zipped past, as well as a sushi chef wearing green armor, who drew a pair of katana, which lit up with verdant energy. Okay then, the UA heroes said. Guys, looks like most of the armor on top and along the sides are brittle the most, strike them there. After that make sure those mutants don't leave, Hiro said from on Baymax's back. Understood, the team said. The UA students watched as the girl in yellow and the guy in green slashed and struck the cracked sections of armor, which shattered, allowing the kaiju to get in there and breath blue flames, making the inner struts melt and collapse. Honey Lemon used more of her spheres to weaken the armor more. Baymax landed and held his fist up, making it fly out at the cyber kaiju, shattering the rest of the armor. I have located the power source, Hiro, Baymax said. Awesome work buddy, Hiro said holding up his gauntlet as a small blast of electromagnetic energy hit the power core, shorting it out and making what was left of the cyber kaiju crumple to the ground. The crowd were cheering as the team of heroes waved at them in thanks. That was impressive, Subarara nodded. Indeed, Monoma said. Damn, she's hot, Mineta said, but something's bugging me, how come we haven't heard of these guys? He asked, making the 1B students realize he was right, so they turned to T. He Hero team as they walked over to the students. Thanks for the assist, now tell us who you are, Hiro scowled. I'm Nito Monoma, this is Sen Saburaba, Monoma said, and that little guy is a moron. The man is Minoru Mineta. We've never heard of you, Saburaba frowned, nor have we, and we know you're mutants. Mutants, huh, our kind hasn't been referred to as mutant in years, ever since the early days of quirks, Mineta frowned. Quirks? Wasabi asked. Yeah, it's what we call our superpowers, quirks. Back in the Origins days they were labeled as mutations until some revolutionary decided that calling them quirks would make them sound less hostile, Mineta said. It does sound like that, Hiro admitted. Anyway, we're Big Hero 6, the premier heroic team in Japan, Hiro said. But we've never heard of you, Monoma said. Yeah, so how can you be the premier team? Saburaba asked. An incident in Japan, huh? Hawkeye asked as he had a cup of coffee and was watching the news with the UA teens. And Big Hero 6 got involved, huh? Haven't seen them in action for ages. Hey guys, look, behind the 6 heroes, isn't that Mineta? Toru asked, making the UA students sit up and take notice. It is, Izuku nodded. So we know where they are, should be easy for an extraction. Hawkeye said. Indeed, and thankfully, Ochako said. I'll ask some of the X-Men, since Sunfire is a member and if I remember. The Big Hero 6 team are close to him, Wanda said. I better go too, maybe to help get the UA students to trust us, Izuku said. I'll go as well, Awase nodded. I just heard from Daredevil, he's got a bara, Black Widow said as she walked in. Okay, we'll send someone down to grab her and escort her back. What about the others and where was it, Canada? Zero asked. I'm not sure, I think that would be an other X-Men team's retrieval as well, Wanda said. Oh great, Zero sighed. Indeed, but we must also think of those who are lost out there as well, Tokiyami frowned. Indeed, the others nodded. Hello, Koda asked as he was walking around a jungle. He was feeling even more skittish than normal, since he was in the middle of the jungle by. Is anybody there? Koda asked as he heard movements. He stopped. Pedon looked around scared when he saw it. A panther, hey there, good kitty, he said using his Ani voice quirk to make the panther come over to him, rubbing his head on Koda's stomach. Koda patted the panther, hey there friend. Care to help? Me? He asked, making the panther nod and led him somewhere. I wonder where is he leading me? That a good question, outsider. A man said as he descended from the trees wearing a white suit while earring a mask that resembled a wolf's head. So tell me little outside, what are you doing here? The man asked. I'm just looking for a way back home, Koda panicked. And where is that? The man asked. Japan, Koda said. Japan, you are far away from home aren't you? He asked, deploying a set of claws. It is just bad luck you came to the jungles of Wakanda, he growled. Wakanda, Koda asked. Indeed, and no outsider who has crossed our borders have passed back over them. Well, at least since Killmonger and Claw. But none have under my watch, He-Man stated. And you are? Koda asked. I am the White Wolf, he introduced himself, the White Wolf. Koda took a step back. Indeed, now then, time to pay for. He shouted only to hear thunder close to them, "Da! It," White Wolf growled as he spun around and knelt down. My king, my queen. Hunter, what are you doing? Black Panther asked as he landed before the man in white. Next to him was Storm. My king. I was just dealing with this outside, White Wolf started. Enough, Storm shouted as she walked over. Koji Koda correct, she asked, making Koda nod. It is good to see you, but how are you here? Black Panther asked. You know him, my king? White Wolf asked. Indeed, he is from the world I went to fight Doom with the other hero, Black Panther nodded. But how are you here? Storm asked, making Koda wave his hand around. Maybe I should contact Tony Stark, Black Panther said. I don't know, 1 minute I was training with my classmates, then next thing I know I'm here, Koda finally spoke up. I should do that same with Hank, Storm said. Very well, we shall head to the Science Center, Black Panther said. I agree, but we must be on our way, Storm frowned. Indeed, we don't know where he is, Black Panther nodded. Who are you talking about? White Wolf asked. M'Baku is here, Black Panther said. What is he doing? He never comes down from the mountains, White Wolf asked scowling. I know, which is we are investigating it, Black Panther said. But for now we have to take Kota back to the science center or palace to keep him safe. I agree, Storm said. The trek to Wankata wasn't a long one from where they found Kota. Who was surprised that an advanced city was hid in the jungle? T'Challa had a smile on his face under his mask. Are you sure about this, brother? Hunter asked as he walked along T'Challa. I am, T'Challa nodded. After all, he is not from this world, plus I've had Shuri tracking the others from his world. Then you have a plan to send them back, right? Hunter asked. Enough, Hunter, do not test your king. Storm snapped. Kota looked around as he heard something. He whispered to the panther with them, who nodded and shot off. What is it? T'Challa asked before he heard the sounds. It sounded like loud grunting. Jabari, White Wolf scowled. What are they doing here? Storm asked as a man wearing a hood that looked like a white gorilla's leapt out of the forest. He had also a chest plate which looked like it had a gorilla's face on it. M'Baku, what are you doing here? T'Challa asked. To end the rule of the Black Panther, so the Jabari will be the new rulers of Wakanda, M'Baku shouted. How many times have you tried this, M'Baku? You know that you cannot defeat the both of us. Storm started to float in the air, only to fall to the ground and clutch her ears. Ororo. T'Challa panicked before he did the same. Kota was panicking. What did you do to them? White Wolf snarled. I brought some help, M'Baku smirked. Indeed he did, a South African voice laughed as Ulysses Claw walked out. You, T'Challa groaned out before he tried to stand up, only to be brought down to his knees. M'Baku smirked as he readied his war staff. The fall of the panther continues, M'Baku smirked. Behind him Claw smirked as he aimed at the royalty again, and just as he was about to fire, a panther came up and ripped the sonic weapon off his arm. What? Claw asked shocked. Take them down. Kota shouted as the panthers growled and snapped at him. You think that scares me? M'Baku asked as he ran at Kota, who flinched by raising his arms over his head. You die. M'Baku shouted, ONL. Why to have a metal hand reach out and grab the war staff? Do you mind? I'm trying to do some peace birdwatching and you are all scaring the birds away, a voice shouted. Bucky. Storm got up, shaking her head. Your Majesties, Bucky nodded. Wrenching the war staff out of M'Baku's hands and crushed it, Hunter. Winter Wolf, White Wolf scoffed. So you think you can take me? Bucky asked as he stood there, stone-faced. M'Baku growled and charged at Bucky, who stood tall and grabbed M'Baku's, flipping him over his shoulder, and then grabbed a spear thrown by a Jabari warrior, which he used to trip another Jabari warrior. Black Panther flicked out his claws and jumped at Claw, kicking him in the face, making him fly backwards. M'Baku got back up and grabbed Black Panther, squeezing it. T'Challa. Bucky shouted, throwing the spear at Black Panther, who caught it, and flipped it around so he drove the spear tip into M'Baku's shoulder. Wrenching a scream of pain out of the Jabari lead, staining the white fur on his shoulders red. Black Panther flipped out of his grasp and landed by Storm, who had charged up lightning. Get out of there, you two. Kota shouted, commanding the panthers to move CK just as Storm fired her bolt of lightning at M'Baku, show the wood and leather armor blocking some of the Jabari. Retreat, M'Baku groaned out as two of his warriors picked him up and took him away. Be wary, Black Panther. I will be king of Wakanda, and when I am, I will display your corpse on my castle walls, M'Baku spat. Try, M'Baku, Black Panther said. After all, I heard gorillas are a delicacy for wolves, he taunted back as Hunter and Bucky crossed their arms over their chests. We'll send you SPME bananas later, Bucky jeered. So what now? White Wolf asked. We get Kota some help, Torm said, smiling as she gently placed a hand on his shoulder, smiling. Thank you, Your Highness, Kota bowed. It is no problem, you helped us by talking out Claw's arm, Black Panther said. Speaking of, Bucky said as they all surrounded the one-armed man. Uh-oh, Claw said. Those kids are sure noisy, Stark smiled. Can you blame them? They're reunited, Nat said as she noticed Stark was working on something. What is that? I'm building something for Izuku, Stark said as he looked over the design of Izuku's suit. You're going at the armor treatment, huh? Nat asked. Yeah, using nanotech. That way he can go all out with damaging his arms, Stark said. You noticed it too, huh? Captain America asked walking in. Indeed, Stark nodded. Yeah, I noticed that his punches were kind of weaker than his kicks. Which appears to be his main attacking style, Stark nodded. It must be because of his quirk. I heard he went all out and nearly destroyed his ligaments, Captain said. I see, Stark added some notes. Any way to find the other students? Nat asked. No, I'm still working on the ones we don't have an idea where they are, Stark said. Hang on, did they show up just after the Sentinel attack the Unity Division stopped? Nat asked. Yeah, they did, Cap said, don't you think? Nat asked. Any luck retrieving any of the others? A voice asked in a hidden lab. No sir, we sent a Sentinel to the northern area, only for this to happen, a scientist said, showing the Sentinel that was cut in half by a glacier. I see, I must admit, these new X genes are concerning, especially since they came from that WEIRD world we detected when the helicarrier came back, the scientist said. Indeed, the owner of the first voice said as he looked over at the US students he captured, but we did get some, he said. Indeed, if we can scan their genetic sequence we can input their powers into the new X Sentinels, the scientist said. X Sentinels? Kaminari asked. Indeed, and when they are active, we will be able to get rid of every mutant on this world, the voice said. Trask, a gruff voice shouted as a military general shouted as he walked in. General Ross, a pleasure, Trask said. Please tell me you got something for me to track down the Hulk. Ross snapped. We're working on it, after all it's only thanks to you we can try the new X Sentinel project, Trask said as he smiled. Indeed, the Hulk for your Sentinels. Though the UN will not be happy if they find out, after all they've agreed to the Genosha Accords, Ross scoffed. The banning of all anti-mutant sentiment was a mistake, they are the biggest read, Trask said, and once they're gone we can work on the rest of the meta-humans of this world. Will that include Captain America? Ross frowned. It might, Trask huffed walking off. Pony didn't know how long she had been walking. But she knew she was somewhere on Route 66. Meaning she was in America, only problem was if she didn't get anything to drink so she would die of dehydration and she didn't want that. She looked up and saw a bar, which meant she could hopefully get a drink. She stumbled in there half dead and walked up to the bar. Water, please, she panted out. We don't serve your kind, the bartender said, my kind. Pony asked. Yeah muty freaks, the bartender said as several of the bar patrons got up, each one pulled out a knife or chain and advanced on the girl. The bar. Keep smiled as he grabbed Pony's horns and held her down on the bar as the first one with a knife approached her. Them horns will make a mighty fine trophy, he laughed as he raised it up, while Pony was struggling. Suddenly the knife was blown out of the man's hands, making the thug grasp it and look over to who shot it. They were a man with graying blonde hair holding a double-barreled sawn-off shotgun. He looked up and glared at them. The bartender looked nervous. Give the girl a drink, he growled. The bartender quickly nodded and served Pony a glass of water. You some kind of muty lover? One of the other bar patrons asked as he dragged his own knife across the man's table. The blonde man looked up with a glare. No, I just think she deserves a drink, and beside I like her more than you, the man admitted, shifting his shotgun to the thug's face. Now leave. Yes sir, the thug scampered off. Anyone else got a problem with her? The man asked as Pony sipped her drink, watching with wide eyes. What if we do? Most of the thugs stood up and glared at the man. Well shit, time for some fun, he said as he flipped the gun around, so he gripped it by the barrels and swung it like a hammer. There came a loud cracking noise from the thug to the right of him as he broke that thug's nose, then he swung it down into the shoulder of another thug. A third thug was right behind him with a bottle of bourbon. When the man whirled around, pulled the bottle of bourbon out of the thug's hand and opened it and drank from it while glaring at him, where he unleashed the gun onto the thug's ribs, making the thug crumple to the floor. He turned back and glared at the rest standing. A biker looked outside and saw several bar patrons running. He sighed and shook his head before getting off his road bike and undid his helmet. Walking into the bar, where he saw a man with graying blonde hair attacking a bunch of thugs and a girl with equine features, or was it more deer-like features sitting at the bar sipping a glass of water. The biker then slammed his helmet. Geez Johnny, the biker said as he grabbed the half-spilled bottle of bourbon and drank it, that's shit. Danny, what are you doing here? The graying blonde man who was now named Johnny frowned. I got worried when I sensed you were close by. Noble was also worried, Danny said sitting down. Well, as you can see I'm alright, Johnny said. Oh sorry miss. I forgot to introduce myself, I'm Johnny Blaze. And I'm Danny Ketch, Danny bowed. I'm Pony Sunotori, nice to meet you, Pony said. So what bring a mutant out here? Danny asked. I'm not sure. 1 minute I was in class, the next I'm walking down good old Route 66 looking for a place where I can get in contact with my school, Pony said. Your school? Johnny asked. UA High in Japan, Pony said. We've never heard of UA, but maybe the Avengers have, Danny said. Well, looks like we're taking a road trip to New York, maybe get Robbie as well, Johnny said. He's in LA, but I think he can meet us in Phoenix, Danny said. Good. Johnny nodded as he put a large stack of bills on the bar, for the damages and drink. Danny asked. Yep, Johnny said. Okay, we're in Simcaria, now. You may ask your questions, Doom 2099 said as he and Kirishima rested just south of the border. So you're from our world, right? Why didn't you help us with this world's doom? Kirishima asked. I was busy with the Avengers of our world, Doom 2099 said. We have Avengers? Kirishima asked. Yes we do, in fact I had sent them on a mission just after that. Doom 2099 informed them. Who are they? Kirishima asked. I have a dossier on them here, Doom 2099 said as he revealed a holographic page. There have been a couple of additions. Wow, but how are you here? Kirishima asked. I am unsure, I was at the Avengers Institute on Island with them when I saw a bright flash of light, and then when I woke up I was in Latveria rescuing you, Doom 2099 said. Thankfully I have a beacon to track them, he said as he brought up the world map. Huh, the Canada-Alaska border, he frowned. So that is who is involved. Department H, which means Weapon X and the Sentinel program have teamed up, Doom 2099 frowned. Sentinel, is that those mutant hunting machine things? Kirishima asked. Indeed, Doom 2099 said. What would they need the Avengers of our world for? Kirishima asked. That is something I hope we find out, Doom 2099 said. Chimichanga. Changa, Deadpool snored. What is he doing here? Jubilee asked. Chimichanga, Deadpool continued. Sleeping, Rogue said. Maybe we should wake him up before Wolverine gets back with Laura, Gambit said. And how are you going to do that? Jubilee asked. The Avengers 2099 are locked up at Weapon X, so is Overhaul, he mumbled, groggily sitting up and looking around. He stretched and yawned. Oh, hello there, Deadpool said. What was that last thing you said? Gambit asked. Nothing, Deadpool said. Who is Overhaul anyway? Jubilee asked. No one, Deadpool said in a sing-song tone of voice as he retreated. Anybody be thinking that was weird for him? Gambit asked. Weird for who? Wolverine asked as he walked into the main area. Deadpool, Gambit said. What did he want? Wolverine growled. We're not sure, but I can only tell in time, Gambit said. But he was muttering about Weapon X, Avengers 2099 and Overhaul. They mean anything to you, Logan? Jubilee asked. Logan looked at Gambit before tilting his head to the side. One of the things Deadpool mentioned, I know what it is, he said as he lit a cigar. What? Gambit asked. Overhaul. He was a villain associated with the Mafia on Earth 6162 feet, Wolverine said. But that means. Rogue looked shocked. Yeah, if Deadpool wasn't talking shit that means that Overhaul is on this world, and if he is working with Weapon X then. Whatever it is, it's not good, Wolverine growled. I'll see if I can get more info on him from the Earth 6162 kids. Where are they anyway? Gambit asked. You're LL good to travel to the Avengers Tower, Beast said checking the system. Thanks, Todoroki said. No worries young man, Beast smiled as he checked the other two, and they were okay. I must say I am shocked but what you did to the Sentinel, Jean said as she looked at the image. It's just something I can do, Todoroki shrugged. I see, it is good to see you Todoroki, and you Ojiro, Beast smiled. You too Dr. McCoy, are the others? Ojiro asked. Yes they are, but they've had dicier wake-up calls, Beast noted, such as. Todoroki asked. Well, Izuku and Ochako dangled off the balcony of Avengers Tower. Miss Hagakure was on the icon of the Fantastic Four which is on the wall of the Baxter building, both would have caused splats, Beast told them. Are they okay? Ojiro asked. Indeed they are, Beast smiled happily. We're going to take you to see them soon, Jean said. Indeed, Todoroki smiled. Hey Beast, Wolverine said as he walked into the medical room. Good to see you Logan, thank you for picking these three up, Beast nodded. No worries, have you seen Wade? Logan asked. No I haven't. Is something wrong? Beast frowned. Apparently, he said something about the Avengers and Weapon X, Logan growled. The UA kids noticed that Logan's growl was different from anything they heard from him. What's Weapon X? Ojiro asked. Something you shouldn't worry about, Beast told them, but the look on his face said otherwise. Well here we are, Iron Man said as he led the UA group to a large mansion. What is it? Ochako asked. This is Avengers Mansion, and where you'll be staying until we can get you back to Earth 6162 inches Cap said. Thank you, Izuku said as they were led into the ground. No worries, you'll be able to live here, train here, and it's secure so if you're attacked you can be defended, Hawkeye said. Nice, Zero said. This will be just like at the dorms, Awase cheered. Only it will be one big dorm, Mina said as a van pulled up, and out of it jump Ojiro, Todoroki and Kamikiri. Masharao. Tor. You shout running up to her boyfriend and hugging him tightly. Toru you're okay, he said holding her warmly. Izuku, Ochako are you two okay? Todoroki asked. Yeah we are, Izuku smiled, bro hugging his friend. What about Momo? Is she with you? Mina asked. No, I don't know where she is, Todoroki sadly said. Hey kids, I got something else to show you, Iron Man called out to the kids, making them all curious. Once inside Iron Man walked up to the fireplace and held up his hand to a pair of black bricks. Once he did the fireplace slid down into the ground revealing an elevator behind it. What is that? Kamikiri asked as the group looked on nervously. The elevator to the sub-basement, Iron Man said. Oh, kind of like the X-Mansion, Mina said. Where do you think I got the inspiration from? He said as the kids got in and descended. This is where we do most of our business. Medical rooms, labs, armory, training room and the ready room, he said, Friday. Hello Mr. Stark, a voice which had an Irish accent to it called out. Bring up the UAM, please, Iron Man asked. Right away boss, a voice said. You have an AI? Izuku asked. Yeah she is, Tony smiled. What's the UAM? Ojiro asked. This is. Iron Man said as he brought up a hologram of the Earth, which had several dots on it. Those dots are the locations for our friends, Izuku said. But there is a problem, several of them are missing and we don't know where, Ochako sighed. There are several groups of us, Toru said. Hold on, one of them moving, Awase said pointing to one moving across America. Let's see who that is, Iron Man said as he tapped the dot. Revealing it was Pony. Pony. The Class B students shouted in happiness. Hopefully your friend Shiozaki will be here shortly. She was down in Hell's Kitchen, Iron Man said. I wonder who is bringing Pony here though. Kaibara asked. I'll try and find out, Stark said. Now where is Momo? Todoroki asked scared. Let's see if I'm correct. It was China, namely Macau, Iron Man said. But why there? Todoroki asked. Momo was panting as she and Itsuka Kendo were in a cage and were fighting each other. People were cheering and waving money around. Giving up yet? Kendo asked. No, Momo panted. Are you? She asked. Do I look it? Kendo smirked and rushed in throwing a punch to Momo's jaw, making her head wrench to the side as blood and spit flew out of her mouth. Wiping her mouth she sent a kick to Kendo's side, making Kendo flinch to the side, allowing Momo to get in there, put her hands on Kendo's shoulders and her knee into the girl's gut several times. Upon releasing Kendo a bell rang. And the winner is Momo. The announcer shouted before Chinese hip-hop started to play while men dressed in hooded outfits lead them to a locker room. What's that our 10th fight? Kendo asked as she had a drink of water. 9th, Momo placed an ice pack against. And you are doing so well, a woman in a red suit walked in. Ma'am, the two said standing up, only to recoil and flinch. Quote, sit down, the woman said, You two have been doing good work, and you're evenly matched, she said, good fit for the 10 rings. Like we're going to join anything related to the Mandarin, Kendo scoffed. How do you know that name? Every time I ask, you always avoid it, the woman said, and I don't think you have been sent my brother or his agents of Atlas, the woman said as she looked over at the MC who looked nervous. What is it, John? She asked. A couple of heroes are walking up to the club, he said awkwardly, making the woman curse. Is this the place? A woman in white asked. Yeah it is, the man next to her said. Are you sure you want to do this, Shang? The woman asked. I'm sure, Shaoling is my sister, Shang said. What if I can't do this? He said, looking at the 5 rings on his left arm. You can do this, I know you can. And if you can't, then Lin and I will help, she smiled. You got that right, Luna said as she and a sword-carrying hero walked over. After all, aren't we the agents of Atlas, she smiled. If we had some more heroes I think we would be better prepared, a guy dressed in blue robes with a bandana across his forehead. Lin, you didn't have to come, you know, Shang said, after all she's my sister. But we're your friends, Luna smiled as they walked into the building. Who is it? Shaoling asked. Luna Snow, Arrow, Sword Master, and, John paused, and. Shaoling asked. Your brother, he smiled. Shang-Chi is here, Shaoling asked, shocked. Yeah, he smiled and skittered off as black ice was seen. They're here, Shaoling growled. Get me Razor Fist, she said. Right away, ma'am, the MC scuttled off. Hey Shang-Chi said as he and the other 4 heroes walked in. Shang, Shaoling sternly said, what do you want? She asked. I heard you were leading the 10 rings, Shang-Chi said. Something I thought you wouldn't do after I gained the 10 rings themselves from father, Shang-Chi said. I'm reforming them, Shaoling said. Momo. Luna asked. Luna Snow. Momo asked. Shocked as the K-pop idol rushed over and used her white ice powers. What are you doing here? Luna asked. We found them in the gutter, John said. We were brought here by a bright light while we were training. And like this gentleman said, we were rescued, we were made to fight in their arena, Kendo said, making Shang sigh and look at his sister. Really? Shang asked. They've been drawing a lot of money in for us, Shaoling said. Shang said before he frowned. Something the matter? Arrow asked before she opened a window and held her hand out, focusing on the winds. Arrow. Shang asked. Something's coming, she frowned. Something metallic, she said before something burst through the window. Ouch. You son of a bitch Grizz, why you got to do me dirty like that? Deadpool asked. Wait, how did I get to Macau? He asked. Deadpool. The agents of Atlas asked. What are you doing here, you fool? Shaoling asked. Oh, just preventing that new sentinel from attacking here, Deadpool said. Sentinel. They all shouted as a 8-foot dark gray and purple machine bust through the wall. Told you, Deadpool sang. Why is it here? Shang-Chi asked as he charged up the 10 rings. What is that thing? Kendo asked. A sentinel. It hunts mutants, Luna Snow said before he looked to Arrow. I may mutate, Arrow said. Mutant DNA detected. The sentinel declared as it scanned Momo and Kendo. Capture at all costs, it said. Wait, did it just say capture? Deadpool asked. It did, Shang-Chi frowned. Why does it want to capture them? Luna asked as she blasted it with her destructive ice while Shang-Chi fired the 10 rings at it. Arrow lifted up into the sky, pulling Deadpool up with her. Whoa! Deadpool exclaimed. Let's help, Momo said, forming a blade from her stomach, which she passed to Kendo before she created a pair of tonfa. Good idea, Kendo said as she looked around, only to see that Shaoling and John had vanished. Cowards, Momo said as they raced forward. Mutant DNA detected, it said as he slammed Sword Master and Luna into the wall, pointing its arm at the 2 girls and fired a net at them. Kendo quickly stepped in and sliced it. Momo raced in and slammed the tonfa against its armor, cracking them. The sentinel then grabbed Momo while squeezing her arms. Momo! Kendo shouted while a large blast of wind was fired at it. You do realize that thing is the size of Stark's Hulkbuster, right? Deadpool asked. So. Arrow shot back as she formed a blade of wind. She dived towards it. Oh, screw it, Deadpool said. 3, he said, grabbing his swords. 2, he pulled them out. 1, he held his arm back, let it rip. he shouted, starting to spin as he dropped towards it. What the? Arrow asked as Deadpool was like a razor-sharp spinning top. Beyblade can suck it. Deadpool shouted as he reached the Sentinel. The blades spinning, making sparks fly off it, but it was mostly intact. Did they make this thing out of vibranium? Swordmaster asked, getting up. Good question, Deadpool. L said as he pulled out an SMG and unloaded a full magazine at it, the bullets just dropping to the floor as they hit. That answers that. He exclaimed as the other heroes swore in their native languages. Great, and here I am without my adamantium bullets, Deadpool griped. Momo, do you think you can make some? Kendo asked. I don't know the chemical composition of it, Momo gulped as stepped back. How did they even get vibranium? Luna asked. That stuff is high regulated by the Wakandans. I don't know, Swordmaster said, grabbing his sword and standing there. Arrow and Shang-Chi walked over by the girls. Stay behind us, Arrow said. Okay, the two girls nodded, Momo acting more frightened than the irritated Kendo. So vibranium, huh? Yeah, I think we can top that, Shang-Chi said. Shang-Chi F. I read a ring at the Sentinel while Luna and Arrow blasted it with their elemental attacks, keeping it off-center, while Kendo and Swordmaster ran with their swords drawn. While that was happening, Deadpool was checking for something. What are you doing? Momo asked. Looking for my adamantium bullets, I know I have them somewhere. Oh wait, they're back at my place, oops, Deadpool responded. You're forgetful, you know that. Momo asked. I sure am, toots, now come on, let's get you out of here, Deadpool said as she was picked up by him and he ran off. Hey, Kendo shouted as she deflected an energy beam from the Sentinel. Shang-Chi formed a shield with the 10 rings and blocked more. We're not getting anywhere, Luna said. Can't you freeze it to weaken its structure? Arrow asked. What do you think I've been trying to do? She snapped before a crash was heard behind them. Target acquired, a second Sentinel said as it opened its chest as a claw shot out and grabbed Kendo, reeling her back into its chest. Kendo. Arrow shouted as she created several blades of air and fired them at the Sentinel, which did nothing. Damn it, the agents of Atlas snapped. They got Kendo, Shang-Chi frowned, but why? Sentinel activity in Macau, Beast frowned. There must have been some UA students there, Stark said, but which ones? Reed asked. I'll bring up the information network, Beast said as he typed. On the computer, Momo Yaoyorozu and Itsuka Kendo, Beast said. Who did they get? Uraraka asked. Kendo, Beast sighed. Maybe we can use this situation to our advantage, Cap said. Oh, and how? Stark asked. We can use the tracker to locate where they're taking the kids, Cap said. That is actually smart, Hawkeye said. Indeed, Reed said. Meanwhile we have the trio of Japan incoming, Beast said. Okay, FTER that we should focus on Australia, Stark said. Good thing Bishop was down there already, Beast smiled. Why? Reed asked. He was tracking Pyro. Thinking he was up to something, Beast frowned. Okay, inform Bishop, Stark said. You got it, Beast nodded. Iida was standing on a film set as he watched a rather buff man wearing red sunglasses walk out of the waves at the beach as a film crew was working. Next to him stood Sue. I'm surprised that we were found by him, Sue said. Indeed, but to be found by a movie star. Iida adjusted his glasses. He has been helpful to us, Iida said. And that's a wrap, the director said as several works came up to the actor and gave him a towel. Thanks you guys, the actor said as he walked over to Iida and Sue. So you guys doing okay? Sorry, a cologne commercial is not the most exciting thing. But they wanted it done while I was here, he said. It's okay, Mr. Williams, Iida said. It's better than the alternative, Sue sighed. And hopefully I'll get in contact with the Avengers and get you back home, Mr. Williams said before he heard a scream. What was that? Iida asked. I have a bad feeling, Mr. Williams shouted. Hey Chrissy, the suit, he said. Yes, Mr. Willia. Ms., the intern assigned to Simon said, making him smile. Let's go, Iida said as he raced over to a secret area where he and Sue had placed their costumes. Costume time, Sue asked as they got changed. Asshole, Bishop shouted as he dodged a fireball, which was hot enough to melt the sand. Pulling out his blaster, Bishop shot at the menace. Give it up, Pyro. Her shouted. No way, you ex-dorks are ruining Magneto's plans, Pyro said as he blasted Bishop with more heat. Growling, he was ready to absorb the flames of pyro. He fired some more shots. "You're destroying Bondi Beach," Bishop shouted. "Oh what you dork," Pyro laughed as he deployed more flames. "I hate this guy," Bishop growled. "Hey Bishop," a voice asked as the impact of someone landing. He turned around and spotted the owner of the voice. "Wonder Man," Bishop smiled. "What are you doing here?" Bishop asked. "Filming the commercial for my new cologne." Wonder Man smiled. "Stop, villain." Iida shouted as he raced in and kicked Pyro. "Is that Iida? What the heck is he doing here?" Bishop asked. "It's complicated. Wait, you know him?" Wonder Man asked. "Yeah." Bishop nodded before a wave of fire went over them. "Get them into cover," Bishop said. "You got it," Wonder Man said. Recipro burst. Iida shouted as he rushed at Pyro, and was about to kick him, when the flames from his calves surrounded him. "Iida," Sue shouted as flames surrounded him. "Not very smart. Having flames against a flame controller," Pyro laughed. "Noted," Iida panted. Sections of his armor was charred. "You okay?" Sue asked. "Yeah, only I'm concerned we can't get at him," Iida frowned. "You two okay?" Wonder Man asked. "I am now," Iida said. "We have to move you too," Wonder Man said before bolts of energy barely missed them. "Sorry," Bishop shouted. "I don't think. This is one of them that came to our world," Sue said as she used the camouflage to try and sneak behind him. "No way, Frog's legs," Pyro laughed as he fired behind him, where Sue was. Iida tried to get up, only to be pulled back by Wonder Man. "Stay," he said, as he raced over, ionic energy in his hand. "Hey, Bishop," he shouted, making the mutant look up, just in time to be blasted by the ionic energy. Bishop absorbed it all and smirked as he grabbed a massive gun off his back and charged it. "Uh-oh," Pyro said. "See you," Bishop smirked as he blasted Pyro into the sand, and then into the water. "The T was," Iida said as Bishop put his gun away. "What are you two doing here?" he asked. "We got sent here by a mysterious blast of light," Sue said. "It was during a training mission with our sister class," Iida said. "Okay, so where are they?" Bishop asked as he pulled out his phone. "Yeah." He asked. "You're kidding?" "Yeah, I'll deal with them." "Yeah, I got the 1A kids, 2 of them." "Then where's the third one?" "You're got to be kidding me." "Yes, I'll get them," Bishop said before hanging up. "There's been a change of plans," he grumbled. "What is it, Ribbit?" Sue asked. "We're heading to a different part of Australian. Apparently there is a Yowie. An Australian abominable snowman-like creature attacking Rundle Mall," Bishop sighed. "Who is it?" Iida asked. "Your hairy friend, who looks like Beast," Bishop P said. "I can fly you there," Wonder Man said. "We've got it," Bishop said. "Okay, I think I'll talk to Tony," Wonder Man nodded. "Understood." Bishop shook the Avenger's hand before he led the kids to a jet, which did a vertical liftoff and flew off. "Now kids, we're heading to Rundle Mall in South Australia. It is a large open-air mall, known for its unique sculptures and markets," Bishop informed them. "There is a famous question, which is, how many balls are in the mall, or something like that," Bishop said as they landed. "Excuse me," Iida exclaimed. "You'll see," Bishop laughed as he led the 2 kids off. He saw some people and walked over to them. "Excuse me," Bishop said. "Yeah," one of them asked. "We're looking for the man-beast that showed up recently," Bishop said. "Oh, we saw it, he was by the mall's balls," she said. "Thank you," Bishop nodded as he indicated where to go and the Japanese hero students followed him. "What are the mall's balls?" Sue asked. "They're officially called the spheres. You'll find out why." Bishop smirked as they came to a pair of polished metal balls, one stacked on top of the other, coming in about 4 meters. "The answer is 2, Bishop laughed. "Impressive," Sue said. "Shishida," Iida said as they saw the beast man. "Iida, Sue, get down," he shouted, jumping at them, and forcing them to the ground as a pair of boomerangs flew at the boomerang, Bishop said as AG. Uy in a blue and white suit with several boomerangs sticking up walked over. "Shit X-Men," Boomerang said. "What are you doing here?" Bishop said as he flicked back his duster and drew an energy blaster, pointing it at him. "So why are you hunting him?" "Some guy posted a bounty on the dark web, said he'd paid anyone who got a bunch of kids $20 million. And he is on the list," Boomerang said as he pulled out another boomerang and spun it around his finger, grabbing it and flicking it at the group. Bishop quickly fired it out of the air. Did this guy have a name? Bishop asked. Called himself Overhaul, Boomerang said. Must have been one heck of a powerful mutant. Overhaul, Sue said, slightly scared. He has the same name as that monster. Iida asked, shocked. Yeah, Sue nodded. Something regarding your world? Bishop asked. Yeah, a monster who wanted to destroy quirks and experimented on a little girl, using her quirk to fuel that sick and twisted desire, Iida seethed. I see, Bishop frowned. I hope it's not the same guy. Otherwise all mutants. Maybe I should investigate that later, Bishop thought. Now then, time to end this and bring in 3 kids, Boomerang smirked as he used several razor-sharp boomerangs at the group, only for Bishop to gunsling them out of the air. He then pulled one from his back and threw it, whereupon getting close to the group, it unleashed a loud noise. How do you like those ones? He said as he pulled another one out and threw it. Bishop rolled forward and caught it, only to see it explode in his, making Boomerang laugh, which quickly stopped as Bishop was perfectly fine. And his eyes were glowing red. Uh-oh, Boomerang said as he pelted the group with them. Sue jumped in front and quickly waved her tongue around to catch them all. Then she dropped them with a blarg. Those taste bad, Sue frowned. Good work, Sue, Iida smiled. So what now? Shishida asked nervously. Just watch, this is rather exciting, Iida said as Bishop reached under his duster and pulled out his cannon and charged it with the energy from the bomb. He aimed it at Boomerang. Whoa, we be all froth and no beer. Boomerang asked, stepping backwards. Sorry mate, but Buckley's of me not blasting your ass off. Heck, you have better chances chooks turning into emus before I spare you. Life, Bishop shouted as a blast of red energy flew from the barrel and out at Boomerang. Oh shit, Boomerang shouted as he was enveloped by red energy. Once the light died down, Boomerang was defeated. Impressive, Shishida nodded. Thank you, now shall we head back to the state? Bishop said as he put his cannon away and walked off. I guess we can, Iida said. Momo, Mina shouted as she was brought to the Avengers mansion. Mina, Ochako, thank goodness you're okay, Momo hugged her friends. Momo, Shoto said, smiling. Shoto, Momo ran into his arms and kissed him. I'm glad you're okay, Shoto said, stroking her hair. I am, but Kendo isn't. She was taken by some weird robot, one that couldn't be damaged. Momo said. What do you mean? Mina asked. Blades, magic and bullets bounced off of it, Momo explained. How? Ochako asked. I believe it was called vibranium, Momo said. We better tell the Avengers, Mina said. Why? Momo asked. Because apparently, the only place to be this vibranium is Wakanada, and even then, it is highly controlled, Mina said. You're right. It is. Concerning that whoever is making the Sentinels has access to vibranium, then we are in trouble, Tony said, frowning as he looked at the footage from the club in Makai. These look different to the one me and the others fought in Canada. Shoto said. For starters, the one in Canada was 12 to 20 feet tall, Ojiro said. This one looks about 8 feet tall, and it's covered in vibranium compared to the LD polycarbonate ceramic armor of the first generation or the steel armor for the second gens, Stark said. So who would be able to get it for Trask? It's not easy to get, Cap said. I'm sorry, Momo said. Don't be kid, Hawkeye said. Anyway, we better check which kids are here, and which ones are still out, Hawkeye added. Let's see. Midoriya, Uraraka, Hagakuriya, Shiro, Ishido, Tokiyami, Awase, Kaibara, Yaoyorozu. Shiozaki needs a pickup, Tony said. Okay. Any luck on the missing kids? Stark said. Not yet, Hawkeye sighed. Where could they be? Cap asked. Hey, Kendo shouted as she was shoved into a glass box. It was dark outside the illuminated box she was in. Kendo. A voice in the darkness asked. One Kendo recognized, Honanuki. Kendo asked. Oh, thank goodness it's you, Honanuki said. What's going on? She asked. We're being held captive, another voice said. Shoji. Kendo asked. Indeed, from what I can tell, several of us have been captured. Shoji said. But why? Kendo asked. That's what we want to know, Honanuki frowned. Oh, don't worry, you will, a voice said as the lights came on to show they were in an underground lab. Hello, I'm Bolivar Trask, and I'm a scientist. Trask said, "Why do you have us prisoner?" Kaminari asked. "Oh, that's simple, your genetic templates. So I can map your quirk factors," he smiled, "so I can add them to my sentinels." "Why?" Shoji asked. "So I can wipe out the mutant freaks that plagues this world. After that I will get rid of the other non-powered humans," Trask said. "And then what?" Shoji asked. "Then we send them to your world, and wipe the out there," a voice said as a man wearing a lab coat, a jet black plague doctor's mask and a pair of cybernetic hands made of carbon fiber. "It can't be," Kendo gasped. "Do you know him?" Honanuki asked. "That's Kai Chisaki aka Overhaul." Kendo shouted. "Wait, he's the bastard that went after Eri." Kaminari asked. The hero students who were there was enraged. Eri, with her I could have cured the quirk infection. But when you were brought over here so was I. Overhaul told them. So I made a deal with Chisaki-san, to help rid our worlds of superpowers, Trask said. So genocide, Kendo growled. Quote, "For the betterment of mankind," Overhaul said. What they didn't notice was that in a box in the far back was tree-like being watching, a frown clear on his bark-covered visage. "Okay, welcome to Avengers Mansion. Your friends are inside," Bishop said as he led the trio he picked up in Australia. "Amazing," Iida gasped. Yeah, Bishop said as he rang the gate bell. "Hello Mr. Bishop, what can I do you for today?" Friday. Stark's current AI asked. 3 to drop off, Bishop said. "Oh, we have been expecting them," Friday said as the gate swung open. The 4 walked in. The first person to meet them was Ochako. "Iida, Sue," she happily exclaimed, racing out to meet the 2 and hug them. "Ochako," Sue shouted, hugging her best friend back tightly. "It is good to see you," Iida said. "Is everyone?" "No. There are still some of us out there, and it looks like some of us were taken as well," Ochako said. "What?" Iida asked. "Excuse me," Shishida asked, "but there are a few of your class inside as well," Ochako said. When the group walked inside, Sue was attacked by a very cuddly dark shadow. "Dark shadow," Tokuyomi shouted as the sentient shadow retracted as Sue stood up. "You're okay," he whispered. Quote, "So are you," Sue smiled and leaned into his warm embrace. "Most of us are together now, there are just a few in the wild," Izuku said. "Indeed, but what about those who are captured?" Shoto asked. "The Avayan Gurs will get them out of there," Izuku declared, "and if they need help, so will we," Izuku said. "Yeah," they all shouted. "So what's the next place we're going?" Kirishima asked as he and Doom 2099 were in Simcaria having a break. Doom 2099 keeping his armor and mask hidden by his blue cloak. "We regroup and get you back to your friends, then I find our Avengers," Doom 2099 said. "Sounds like a plan," Kirishima said. "So how are we going to do that?" he asked, confused, making Doom 2099 chuckled. "Like this," Doom 2099 stated as he moved his hand in a square, making the outlines on one appear on the ground around them. Kirishima looked amazed as it turned blue and moved up their bodies. Once the light stopped, Kirishima looked around as Doom 2099 checked something on his wrist. "Where are we?" Kirishima asked. "It appears we're in Whitechapel," Doom 2099 said. "London." "England," he frowned. "It seems my tech is still trying to reboot after being in Latveria for so long." "That's not good," Kirishima gulped. "Indeed. Come, we should." Doom 2099 turned around only to have a black-colored blade pointed at him. "Hello Doom, I was under the impression you were being held by Strange," a man in armor frowned. "Okay. I'll bring her over tomorrow," Matt said. "Got it, thanks for watching her Matt," Stark said over the phone. "It's been a pleasure," Matt smiled. "She's been a delight to have around the office." He then stopped. "Any sign of them?" "The AVTF. Barely. After Fisk's reign of mayoral terror ended, they were dissolved in fire, but that doesn't mean they're still out there," Stark said. "And they're acting as mercenaries." "Great," Matt sighed as he sat down at his desk, looking over at Ibarra, who was sound asleep on the couch covered by a blanket. "Anyway, I'll see you at Avengers Mansion tomorrow," Matt said. "Indeed we shall. Good night Matt," Stark said. "Night Tony," Matt smiled, hanging up as he went to do his work. He was on edge since he had heard the AVTF went from being the dogs of Fisk's criminal mayoral service to mercenaries. Meaning this was a huge problem mainly due to no one knowing who was hiring them. Then he heard it. Combat boots on the stairs, guns being reloaded. He killed the lights and walked into the room which held his Daredevil costume and quickly equipped it. He stood by as the door to their office was kicked in. Find the girl, the leader ordered, and make sure anyone else here is dealt with. I don't think so, Daredevil whispered. The AVTF mercenaries were on the second floor, then they stopped and pulled on gas masks, each one marked with a white skull pattern, which is similar to the Punisher's skull. Let's move quietly, the leader said as his men nodded and equipped their guns with silencers. Remember, no killing, especially the girl. Yes sir, they all said as they walked up to the third floor, where the office of Nelson and Murdoch were located. Hang on, Murdoch, isn't he that crackshot lawyer? One of them asked. He is, another said. Yeah, don't worry, he's not around, he chuckled. Yes sir, the officer said before something red and fast hit him in the face, knocking him back. The mercenaries quickly shone their rifles at the source as it rebounded into the user's hand. There at the end of the hallway was Daredevil himself. Shit, Daredevil. The officers backed up. Back off, freak. Hello boys, Daredevil smirked as he twirled his Billy C. Lugs, and we are here on official business. Bullshit, you're nothing but hired thugs now. So what do you want with the girl? Daredevil asked. None of your concern, the man said as he was about to fire when Daredevil threw one of his billy clubs at him, rushing in when it hit the commander, grabbing it in the air, landing and decking two more of the men. He back-kicked another one and disarmed a. The next move he did was to throw an elbow into the face of another mercenary before he grabbed another on, slamming him into the wall. While he was beating down on the AVTF mercenaries, the command Schlee PPED into the offices of Nelson and Murdoch. Closing the door quick, a sick smile came onto his face as he saw Ibarra sleeping. Pulling out a dart gun, he loaded it and chambered a round. You're mine, he smirked as he aimed at Ibarra. Only to see a green dot on his hand, he brushed it away, only for it to see it shift to the other hand. He frowned and then realized that it was a laser pointer, and it was pointing at his hand. So he looked where. Easy now, a gruff voice whispered as he sipped coffee. You, the AVTF mercenary commander growled. Frank Castle, he paled. How does he have shit coffee since last time he represented me? Frank asked as he sipped his cup. So who hired you? Not saying, the mercenary commander said as Frank reached for his knife. So are you sure you don't want to tell me? Frank asked as he held the tip of the knife up to the mercenary's nose, making him gulp. I was hired to bring the girl to the docks, he said. Good boy, Frank smiled as he knocked out the guy and looked at Ibarra. He gently smiled and covered her up before walking outside to see the last AVTF mercenary. Frank, Daredevil said. Red, Frank nodded. Your coffee is still shit. Tell me something. Gee, I don't know, Daredevil said. Is she still asleep? Yep, Frank replied. You should get her to the Avengers soon, Frank said as he finished his coffee. Who hired them? Daredevil asked. I don't know. But I will, Frank said as he stopped by one of them, and looked down. He suddenly stomped on one of them, making the mask he was wearing break. I hate those, Frank said. I know, why are you here? Daredevil asked. I've been tracking something, Frank said. What? Daredevil frowned before Frank shot a mercenary that was still groaning. Daredevil gave him a look of disgust. Suddenly the two wrote a yawn and turned to see Ibarra walking out in. What's going on? She asked sleepily. Ibarra, you remember Frank, right? Daredevil asked. Yeah, hello, she said. Hi, Frank nodded back. Are you kidding me? Someone decided to attack Nelson and Murdoch while they had a UA kid there. Stark snapped. Who was it? Cap asked. Not sure, some old members of Fisk's AVTF, Stark groaned. Well, our night is going to get worse, Bruce said walking in. How? Tony asked as he rubbed his head. How about this? Bruce brought up a video of the MRD in France attacking someone, firing a blue glittering light out of their stomach. He hit a few of him with what appeared to be a sword variation on the laser. Only the new sentinels landed, shocked him as the boy got a few blasts in at them. The inner core of one of them blew up. Then the blonde kid was captured and they flew off. Please tell me we can at least track him. Stark asked. Negative, Bruce frowned. We can't, he frowned. Anything else we should be made aware of? Cap asked. Not ye, Bruce started before he saw something which made his blood freeze. No, how? He asked. What is it, Bruce? Tony asked concerned. Doom's been seen, Bruce said. What? The Avengers asked. This is bullshit. Bakugo shouted as he blew up the sweat in his hands. Knock it off, bomb head. Jiro snapped. Why should I long ears? Bakugo snarled. Maybe, we're in another world. One which doesn't have the same amount of quirked people and we're sticking out like mutants. Jiro answered. Whatever, Bakugo scoffed. Excuse me, what if we find those who help us? Yui asked, raising her hand. Maybe, Jiro said. But where are they? Bakugo asked. You there, freeze, a man shouted as several UK police surrounded them. One of them was dressed in a Union Jack costume. Who are you? Why do you want to know? Flag head. Bakugo asked. We're tourists, we came here on a school trip, only we were fooling around so much. We lost our tour group, Jiro said. I see, let me guess you're from Xavier's. The man asked. Yes, Jiro hesitated. I'll take them to Muir Island, the man said. Oh, before I forget, I'm Union Jack. I work with MI5's Mutant Law Division, Union Jack said. Oi, Black Knight's fighting Doom, an officer said. Doom, what is he doing here? Union Jack asked, making the UA kids look nervous. Let's see. I'm guessing you're Dane Whiteman, the current Black Knight, Doom 2099 said. What is it you want, Doom? The Black Knight asked, his black sword pointed directly at Doom's nose. I am merely trying to get this young man home, and then return with him. In my team of Avengers to our world, Doom 2099 said. Your team of Avengers, world, are you a variant? Black Knight asked. Yes, we are. Me and this boy are from the same world, Earth-616. Doom 2099 informed them. In your own team of Avengers? Black Knight asked. Yes, I sent them on a mission to escort something valuable and dangerous, only for them to be lost in this world. Doom 2099 said. Interesting, Black Knight said as he heard a rifle being loaded. Hello Dane, a woman with a large red ponytail said. Elsa, how's the monster hunt? Black Knight asked. It's going well, but I left BL. Aiden Vampress in the sewers, Elsa said. Okay, why down there? Black Knight asked. It seems Werewolf by Night and Moon Knight are down there having an argument, and I don't want to get in the way of that, so I left Blade in charge, Elsa said. What's Doom doing here and why is he in white armor? Elsa asked. He's a variant from Earth 6162 inches, Black Knight said, the same world Vampress is from. Elsa asked. Yep, Black Knight said, maybe they can help us, Black Knight pondered. Move, Blade shouted as he threw a sliver steak at a werewolf. Jack, you okay? Blade asked. I'm fine, Jack said as he was holding his arm. I haven't seen any werewolves like these, Moon Knight said through his crescent dart at them. I got one, Vampress shouted as she stuck an injector into its neck and started to drain the blood out of it. Don't eat that, Blade ordered. But Blade, I'm hungry, Vampress said before she was thrown a vial and growled before she jabbed it into her skin and injected it, shivering as it did so. Feeling better? Blade asked as he jammed a similar-looking vial into his own neck and hissed as the serum flowed. Yeah, I guess, Vampress said. I'm glad she doesn't have to eat blood. Or what her metahuman ability is linked to it, Moon Knight said. Guys, let's get above ground, Jack said. Good idea, Blade said as he pulled. Easy Jack, Moon Knight said as he walked over to an entrance and kicked the door open. Vampress, Blade and Jack followed as he looked around. Moon Knight frowned as he looked at the werewolves, noticing that they were merely fur-covered machine. Mark, Steven, Jake, let's go already, Blade snapped. I'm coming, Moon Knight swirled his cape as he left. Can we get some proper food now? Vampress asked, stretching. Just as soon as we grab Elsa, Blade said. And those two? Vampress glared at Jack and Moon Knight. We'll be fine, Jack smiled. Yeah, Moon Knight said as he saw Union Jack rushing past, switching from his normal ancient Egyptian-looking uniform to a white suit. Was that Union Jack? He seems to be in a hurry, Blade said. Let's go. Vampress chased after him. Damn it, the Midnight Suns shouted as they followed her. We have to be careful, we're still in London, remember? Mainly Whitechapel. Blade shouted. Oh great, yeah, bring the guy named Jack to Whitechapel, Jack said. Now, the other two said. Before gunshots and explosions were heard making them duck. Now then, what to do with you? Elsa said before. Like I said, I am here to bring the boy to his classmates and then find the Avengers from our world and bring them back with the missing hero students, Doom 2099 told them. Indeed, Dane said. Doom. A voice shouted as a guy in a Union Jack-inspired Special Forces uniform showed up with his gun drive. Union Jack, but the question is which one is he? Doom 2099 asked. Don't move, and what's with the white armor? Union Jack asked. I'm a different Doom. Doom 2099 shook his head. Another Doom. A female voice asked as two teenagers followed him. Kyoko Ajiro and Yui Koda, two of the scattered UA students. Doom 2099 said. Wait, how do you know that? Jiro asked, shocked. Jiro. Kirishima asked, shock and joy in his voice. Kirishima. Jiro shouted, hugging him. What are you doing here? They asked each other. That's three, now I believe. Doom 2099 checked his wrist computer. You bastard. Bakugo shouted from over here. Oh, there he is, Doom 2099 sighed as he raised his shield. Bakugo. Kirishima shouted as Bakugo landed. Shitty hair. Bakugo asked, confused, what the shit are you doing here? He shouted. Long story, Kirishima said. Well, this is a surprise, a voice said, making them all glance over to see a young woman about the student's age. Her blonde hair reached her shoulders. She wore a backless red tank top, dark tight-fitting pants, high-heeled boots and a sliver choker. The most shocking feature were her golden yellow cat-like eyes. Himiko Toga. The UA students shouted, hey guys, Toga smiled. What are you doing here? Bakugo asked, shocked. Oh, this is the world those other heroes came from, and I joined them to keep my quirk under control. So what is going on and why are you with Doom anyway? Jiro asked. Oh, this Doom is from our world, Kirishima said, making the UA group shocked. Yes, and I am here to find out why we were brought here and by who, plus find our Avengers, Doom 2099 said. Wait, our world has Avengers? Jiro asked. That's cool, right? Kirishima smiled. Who are they and where are they? Bakugo scoffed. I don't know where they are, all I know is that they relocated in the Americas, Doom 2099 said. Then they could be anywhere, Kirishima said. Okay, so how are we going to get here? Jiro asked. Don't look at me, Union Jack said before the Midnight Suns arrived. Doom. Blade asked, nervous. From the year 2099 on Earth 6162 inches, Doom 2099 said, bowing a bit. So you don't know anything about those cyborg werewolves in the sewers? Moon Knight asked. What? Kirishima asked. Did you say cyborg werewolves? Elsa asked. I did, I noticed it when we were about to leave, Jack said. Hang on, didn't the Unity Division or whatever deal with canine-like sentinels? Blade asked. Yeah, why? Elsa replied before getting it. Oh shit, she drew her rifle and turned around just as one of those cyborg werewolves burst out of the sewer and roared at them. So it's a cyborg werewolf sentinel? Jiro asked. Prey acquired, it growled as it locked eyes on the UA students. The Midnight Suns and Union Jack immediately stepped in front of them, just as a jet flew over here. Now what? Everyone asked. Guten Tag, sorry we are late, Nightcrawler said. What are you doing here? Blade asked. We saw Sentinel activity and figured that Excalibur can handle this mission. He smiled as Psylocke, Shadowcat, Wolfsbane and Captain Britain landed. Sir. Union Jack saluted. At ease, Agent, Captain Britain nodded. Thank goodness you guys are okay. Oh, and you're fine too, Bakugo, Kitty said. Bitch, Bakugo flipped her off. Good to see you, Kitty, Jiro smiled. You too, Kitty hugged her. Reunite later, cyborg sentinel werewolves now. Captain Britain said. I agree with my brother, Psylocke said. You never told us you had a brother, Jiro said before Bakugo launched into action. Prey detected, the werewolf said as it opened his mouth and unleashed a sonic howl at Bakugo, who crashed covering his ears. You bastard, he growled as he stood up slowly, seeing the werewolf was on him and about to slash at him until Kirishima stepped in and blocked it. Blade and the BL. Ak Knight rushed in with their swords drawn, trying to cleave it, however the werewolf had other plans, using its tail to block the two swords. Jack grabbed a gun and fired at it, the bullets only drive off to the ground as if they were robbed of their momentum. Vibranium, Nightcrawler said as he wrapped his tail around its throat and teleported into the sky. Captain Britain flew at it with his fist charged to fire at it. The metal didn't react to it, making the werewolf land and fired off another sonic howl at the heroes. Moon Knight stepped up with his twin baton, was stopped dead by the vibranium. How did they get vibranium? Captain Britain asked. I don't know, Psylocke said. Doom 2099 looked at the situation and then opened a portal. Get in quick, he shouted. Are you kidding me? Bah! Kugo snapped as he rushed in and tried to do the same thing, which resulted in him feeling razor-sharp claws dig into his stomach. Bakugo, the UA students shout. I'll take this one down, Kitty shouted as she rushed at it. Phasing through it, only to be shocked and flew into Nightcrawler. It knocked Kitty back. How? Psylocke asked. I cannot keep this open for long, so hurry. Doom 2099 shouted. Everyone into the gate, Blade ordered. What are you kidding, we don't know where that will go, Moon Knight shouted. Just bloody do it, Elsa shouted firing at the werewolf. Once they exited out of the portal, everyone panted. Bakugo. You okay man? Kirishima asked as he was now searing his wounds close. What is going in here? A voice asked as Ben Grimm walked into the room. Ah Ben Grimm, Didn't think I would luck out and find the Baxter building, Doom 2099 said relieved. Doom. The thing shouted and rushed at him. Doom 2099 typed something into his computer making the thing phase through him. I hate phasing tech, the thing growled. Hey thing, it's good to see you, Kirishima shouted. Kirishima? Thing asked as he got up. What are you doing with him? He got me out of Latveria, Kirishima said. Now, I got these young people saved, I can look for the Avengers, Doom 2099 said. The Avengers are in Avengers Tower, Thing said. He means the Avengers of our world, whatever that means, Jiro said confused. The Avengers of your world, what world is that? Thing asked. Earth 6162 inches Doom 2099 said. You're from Earth 61612. Thing asked shocked. I am indeed, Doom 2099 said. Which is why I'm here. I believe some threats from our world is here. What? Everyone shouted. What do you mean, someone threatening from our world is here? Jiro asked. How? Kirishima asked. Who cares? Bakugo grunted. Kid, I'm taking you to the infirmary, Midnight Suns feel free to stick around here or head over to the sanctum. Thank you, Blade said. I do need to do some stitch up, and I'm sure Jack would love a checkup. Make sure he has no fleas, Elsa joked. Funny, Jack flipped her off. More of these vibranium sentinels have showed up, now in England and France, Fury growled as he watched. The screens, and it seems they're made out of Wakandan vibranium, he noted. So what should we do about them Fury? Tony asked. Maybe we have to make sure we can get some anti-metal vibranium, Fury said. And the only area where that is located is in the Savage Lands, Fury sighed. Which would help as there is a UA student down there, Tony frowned. Which one? Fury asked. Setsuna Tokage, Stark's aide, and Ibarra has been relocated to the mansion. Are there any chances of the Sentinels hitting that place? I don't know, we're not even sure if they can be affected by EMP. I'm hoping we can get in contact with T'Challa, he sighed. That would be a good idea, Fury muttered. Back at the Baxter building as Bakugo was getting patched up by Sue, Reed and Doom 2099 were staring at each other. Well, this is awkward, Doom 2099 said. I agree, so tell me you're from their world. Reed asked. Correct, Doom 2099 nodded. And you run the Avengers of your world. Reed frowned. I do, though I am more of an overseer than manager, Doom 2099 said. Who are they? Ben asked. Here, Doom 2099 uploaded a file to the Baxter building's mainframe. No, you can view the file anytime you want. I still find it weird and the Avengers are working together, Reed noted. I can see why, Doom 2099 said, especially since one of the Avengers is related to a variant. What do you mean? Reed asked. There is a man on this world called Dr. Abraham Cornelius who worked for the Weapon X program, who is currently teaming up with Trask to create a new version of Project Wide Awake, Doom 2099 said as he showed an image of a man with red hair. His variant is one Professor David Shield, Doom 2099 said showing the same man, only slimmer and with blonde hair. His daughter Melissa is the leader of my world's Avengers, he commented. I see, Reed frowned. Hopefully we can find them before something bad happens to them. Abara. The Class B students rushed to their friend and hugged tightly, making her smile. T is good to see you all. Abara smiled and started to get a bit tear-eyed. Hey, it's okay. We're all safe now, Awase comforted her. Where is Kendo? Abara asked, and Setsuna. It's been a few guys. You're the first girl from our class to get back. Kaibara said. Oh, Abara said. Don't worry, we will get them back. Shishida smiled. No doubt, Kaibara said. Hang on, I'm getting a text, Awase said. Guys, Kodai is in New York. Where? Kaibara asked. Somewhere called the Baxter Building, Awase said. Maybe the 1A group knows where it is, Abara suggested. Kaibara walked over to Izuku, who was training. Hey Midoriya, do you know where the Baxter Building is? He asked. I don't, but I think Hagakure does, he answered. Hey Hagakure, where's the Baxter Building? I was just about to go there with Mina and Ochako, Toru said, walking out in a new outfit which was quite cute on her, which was a light bluish-green dress, a white beret and summer jacket, Mina and Ochako doing the same. Think you can take Abara with you? Kaibara asked. Sure, the girls said. So this is it? Abara asked, looking up, noticing the massive floor on the side of the building. Yeah, this is it, the Baxter Building, home of the Fantastic 4 Inches, Toru smiled. Miss Toru. Two young voice shouted as two kids tackled Toru. Hey Franklin, Valeria, she smiled as she hugged the kids. Sorry about them, Sue said as she walked out and gave Toru a hug. So what brings you here? We heard a friend of mine is here, Abara said. There are a couple of UA students here, one of them getting medical treatment, Sue said. WHO. The UA students exclaimed. Katsuki Bakugo, Sue sighed. Bakugo's here, Ochako asked. And so are Kyoka Jiro, Eijiro Kirishima and Yui Kodai, Sue said. Eijiro is here. Mina asked. How we heard he was in Latveria, Toru said. Well, that is where things get trickier. Turns out a variant of one of our enemies rescued him, Sue told her. There's a variant from your world on ours. Mina asked. Who? Ochako asked. Dr. Doom, Sue said. What? The students exclaimed. How you feeling, Bakugo? Kirishima asked. I'm fine, stupid beast. Bakugo winced as he rolled his shoulder. Maybe you should take it easy, Jiro said. Whatever long ears. We still need to find the others, including Deku, Bakugo said. Who knows what that thing did to our quirks, some of them could have stopped working. Well, actually, most of them are. Here in New York, Ben said as he walked in with some cans of soft drinks. Where? Kirishima asked. That damn nerd, I should have known he's okay. Bakugo felt relief. They're staying at the old Avengers Mansion, Ben said. The Avengers Mansion? Jiro asked. It was their headquarters before they level up into Avengers Tower. Ben said. EIJRIO. A voice cried out, making Kirishima freeze. Mina. K. Urshima shouted as he saw the woman who captured his heart appear, tears pooling in her eyes. You, dummy, she shouted, jumping into his arm and crying. Kirishima just held her and comforted. You guys are okay, Ochako said as they walked in. Abara, Yui reacted. You're okay, Toru said, relieved. Most of us, Jiro said, using her earphone jack to point at Bakugo. Shut up. He shouted. What happened to you anyway? Mina asked. A sentinel attack him, Kirishima said. A sentinel, what kind? Ochako asked. A cyborg werewolf, Jiro said. What the? The New York UA group shouted. Reed. Johnny show. Ted as he raced into the science center. What is it? Reed asked. We're getting a signal from the Savage Land, Johnny said. The Savage Land? Jiro asked. Wait, isn't that where Tokage is? Toru asked. What? The Class B students asked. Setsuna was standing under a waterfall, her hero costume off to the side, well, what was left of it. During her time there her costume had been damaged, so she had to use what skills she could to change them. Her pants had become a open-leg skirt. Her top just covered her bust by becoming a bikini-like top. The sleeves were ribbons she tied around her arms, and her boots were changed to be open-toed sandals. She looked around, making sure that there was no threat to her. She relaxed. Man, it's tough here, between the mutates, dinosaurs and whatever the spire is. She heard a noise and quickly grabbed the spear she made out of some of the weird metal she found as a robot flew overhead. Another one of those things, I wonder what it is, Setsuna frowned, getting dressed and walked off. I need to find the others, she said, looking at her phone, the safety beacon barely working. Come on guys, where are you? That's a safety beacon. Toru shouted, which me? And we can find Setsuna, Abara smiled, who should be sent thought. Reed asked, send the X-Men, Sue said. You sir darling? Reed asked. I am, they are probably the best we have since Magneto used to use the Savage Lands as a lab, Sue sighed. I'll contact them, Reed said. Professor X entered the ready road to see Angel, Jubilee, Cyclops. Rogue and Gambit were there. Thank you for coming, I need you to go to the Savage Land, he said. Does it have to do with the missing students? Cyclops asked. Yes, one of them is in the Savage Land as we speak. Xavier nodded. Do we know where they are? Rogue asked. Not really. But I have a feeling you'll find them, Professor X sighed. I wish we can bring Jean along, but there is something she has to do, Cyclops sighed. I'll go, Kitty shouted, running in. Xavier nodded. I'll allow it. Now go and rescue them, he said. Yes sir, X-Men, let's deploy, Cyclops ordered as they all headed to the X-Jet hangar. This is tough, half our classes are missing in S. All of them have been captured, Izuku sighed as he stood on the roof of the Avengers mansion. He knew he had to help lead them since he was one of the strongest, but he was also one of the he was ALS. Oh, the most unsure due to him being quirkless for so long. Even now, since he made sure he was a great hero student, he was still unsure of abilities. With great power comes great responsibility, someone said to him. Huh? Izuku asked as he turned around and saw a familiar face, Spider-Man. Izuku asked. Hey, you're getting it in your head, huh? Trust me, from what I've seen you're a good hero. You've kept a cool head under pressure during Doom's invasion, he said. I know, but since we've been here, Izuku gripped his fist. Come with me, Spider-Man said. Huh? Izuku asked. Trust me, I'm going to S. How you a way to clear your head, Spider-Man said as he walked over. You up for it? Sure, Izuku said as he got ready. You still have Black Whip? Spider-Man asked. Yeah, I still have it, Izuku smiled. As he shot a tendril out as Spider-Man shot a webbling out and the pair started to swing through the concrete jungle. Spider-Man is a menace. A voice was heard shouting, shut it Jonah, Spider-Man said as he dove closer to the street. Izuku following close behind him, shooting out another tendril when he was close to the ground. Nice, Spider-Man shouted. He swung into the air, released his web and fired another one. Hey, we're about to have some company, he shouted. Who? Izuku asked, looking around. Watch out boys, Ghost Spider shouted as she swung up between. Coming through, Agent Venom laughed. Hey, no fair, Spider-Man said as he continued to swing, Izuku joining in chasing them. Hey Miles, he said as a guy dressed in red and black joined them. Hey Pete, who's the new guy? Miles asked. Izuku, meet Miles, Ghost Spider. Hey, Miles nodded. Nice to meet you, Izuku said as he did a flip over the sign. Sick, Miles nodded. The group continued to swing through New York, just having fun. Last one to the bugle is a rotten apple, Ghost Spider shouted. Okay, Izuku said as he swung ahead of them and created a purple cloud. As groans and jeers, later, Izuku shouted. Soon the group reached the top of the Daily Bugle and were laughing and joking around. So, get out of your head? Spider-Man asked. I guess I did, Izuku smiled as he looked over Times Square. It's incredible, isn't it? Miles asked. Yeah it is, Izuku nodded smiling. Oh, I didn't think I would see you guys up here, a woman said as the Spider crew turned around to see someone there. Hey Betty, Parker, and today, we need some photos. Spider-Man waved at her, but Izuku was shocked. Mandalay, no it can't be, Izuku thought. You okay? Ghost Spider asked. Let me guess, she looks like someone from your world. Yeah, a pro-hero named Monotally, Izuku whispered. Who? Ghost Spider said. Sorry, haven't seen him today, Betty shrugged. Damn, Spider-Man sighed before his spider sense went off. Get back inside Miss Brandt, he said. Why? Betty asked before a cackle was heard. Is that? Izuku asked as he ran to the edge of the building, and looked down to see, Scorpion. There you are. You think you can lock me up in Rikers and I wouldn't get out? Exclamation mark quote. Scorpion shouted, yeah, pretty much, Spider-Man shrugged. He seems madder than usual, Miles noted. We dealt with him in Izuku's world, Agent Venom said. Ah, Miles nodded. Before his own spider sense went off making Miles look around. Miles. Ghost Spider asked. He's here, Miles said. Oh damn Miles, why you got to do me dirty like that? A voice asked as someone walked out dressed in black tactical gear with a purple mask on. Prowler, Spider-Man said, and not the good one. There's a good one. Izuku asked. So who do we fight, Scorpion or Prowler? Ghost Spider asked. I'll take Prowler. You guys go after the other guy, Miles said. I'll help, Agent Venom said. Thanks, Miles nodded. Hey Mac over here, Spider-Man jumped over the Scorpion and webbed his tail to the ground. That's brand new, he shouted as he flicked his arms out making a pair of pinchers, which snipped the webbing off, giving his tail a flick to get rid of the remaining webbing on it. That's cheating, Ghost Spider shouted as she leapt at Scorpion, who used his tail to bat her away, making fly a couple of meters off the roof. She pointed her hand at the building only to hear a click. No, she gasped as she tried the other hand, the click being heard. I'm out. She shouted. No, Spider-Man shouted before Scorpion swung at him. Say goodbye, Scorpion laughed. What no one know. Ticked was that it were 2 fights of 1v2. Izuku was just standing back and watching until his danger sense went off and paled as Ghost Spider went off the edge, making his heroic instincts kick in and made him rush forward. Jumping off the edge of the building as well. He concentrated and then flicked his arm out firing off Black Whip, which wrapped around Ghost Spider, pulled her close to him as He used the speed of his fall to bust a window and rolled into an office. He got up in a crouch and glared at the waiting for someone to come and attack. We're safe, Ghost Spider sighed. You. A voice shouted making the two snap up. Oh great brushhead, Ghost Spider sighed. Spider Girl. The man said. It's Ghost Spider, she said cocking a hip. And who's this guy? The man shouted pointing at Izuku, who blinked. Half his face covered by his face guard. I'm DEKU, Izuku said. Stupid name, the man said. Well, I also go by Vanguard, Izuku said. You do? Ghost Spider asked. Better, the man nodded. So you a mutant, meta. Science, magic. Quirked, Izuku said before his head shot up. Now what? Ghost Spider asked. Hello little spider, a new voice said as a man dressed in red and black jumped into the window. His suit had a spider emblem covering his entire chest. He also had black military boots which looked like had knives on them. Izuku glared at him. Tarantula, what are you doing here? Ghost Spider asked. Your head, Tarantula laughed as he kicked at Ghost Spider, making the knife on his boot flick forward. Izuku moved back and then jumped to the foot he just kicked with. Before kicking the air with the other foot. Izuku was backed up against a wall. He was panicking and there was a tingle in the back of his neck which was different from the danger sense he usually had. He glared at Tarantula before a thick cloud of purple smoke appeared. What the? Tarantula asked. Jameson, you okay? Ghost Spider asked. I'm fine, you female menace. Jameson snapped. What was that? Tarantula asked before he felt the wind next to him, only to have him hit the floor then pulled out of the broken window into the air. Tarantula looked as he was kicked in the gut by a floating, hang on you fly. Tarantula asked shocked. Smash. Izuku shouted kicking him into the roof of the opposite building. Ghost Spider was outside and crawling up the wall. Izuku then turned and fired a black whip at the roof, making him fly up there. Once he saw Scorpion he did a hammer kick to the back of Scorpion making him crash into the roof, then he flicked his arm out and flicked an air bullet, landing in the face of Prowler. Damn, Miles looked around. Why didn't you do that before? Agent Venom asked making Izuku shrug. Anyway we better get out of here, Spider-Man said. At the same time X-Men team lead by Cyclops landed in the Savage Land. Okay team, I don't need to tell you to be careful about this place, we don't know where Miss Tokage is, he said looking around. So this is it huh? Kitty asked. Yeah, Cyclops said as he turned to Angel. Take to the skies Angel, I want to see if we can find her. You got it, Angel nodded as he took off. And the rest of us? Gambit asked, shuffling his deck of cards. We search the old-fashioned way, Cyclops said as he walked off. He's the boss, Jubilee said as she and Kitty looked around. I never thought that there would be a jungle here, Kitty said. It was created through some aliens, Rogue said as she nudged the girls forward. You are up to this, after all you and the Excalibur team came back. I'm sure, Kitty nodded. Just hope there's nothing here we have to worry about, Gambit said. Like what? Jubilee asked nervously. Down, Cyclops ordered as he looked up and saw some of the new vibranium sentinels flying overhead. Them, Rogue growled. They must be looking for her too, Gambit guessed. Which means this is a race against time, Cyclops scowled. I hate all this sneaking around, Rogue growled as the X-Men team in the Savage Land continued to look for Setsuna. I know Shuri, but what are you going to do with all the sentinels flying around? Gambit asked. I don't know, smash them. Rogue harshly snapped. They're made out of vibranium, Rogue. Meaning they'll absorb any kinetic energy like my concussive blasts and your punches. I could phase through them, Kitty smiled. Let's save that for later, we don't want to give away our trump cards just yet, Cyclops said, making the group nod. Angel, come in, are you safe? He asked via radio. I am, and thankfully I'm hiding away from them, Angel said. Where? Cyclops asked. A cliffside. One near Magneto's old citadel. Even just looking at the thing gives me all sorts of creeps, Angel said as he held back a groan. You okay? Cyclops asked. Yeah, just that. If I feel any more stress he'll come out and play. Angel said. Archangel would be a hindrance and a boon here, Cyclops said. I'd prefer to keep Archangel in check, Angel said as he rubbed his. Anyway, any signs of her sentinels? Rogue asked. Not yet, Archangel said. Hey, a voice said, making Angel turn around to seek a spear-wheeled girl with green hair and purple clothes. Who are you? I'm Angel, who are you? I'm Setsuna Tokage, the girl said. Okay, that was way too easy, Angel said as he went for his radio, only to dodge an energy blast. Damn it, they found us, they both said. The two looked at each other. They're after you as well? They asked. Yeah, Tokage said. Great, Setsuna said, disconnecting her hand. Okay, that's weird. Angel blanched as the hand flew at the sentinel, and that is not going to work. The outer shell of the sentinel is made out of, Angel shouted before the spear broke the shell and struck the core of the sentinel, forcing it offline. Setsuna held her hand out as it flew back to her. Multiple energy blasts flying at it. What was that? Angel asked. Oh, just my quirk, lizardy, it enabled to split my body apart like a lizard's tail, Setsuna smiled. Okay, come on, Angel said, grabbing the girl. Flying out so her hand reconnected and they flew off. Where are we going? Setsuna flinched as various energy blasts exploded in the air. My team is close by, Angel said as he dodged them all. Several of them coming close to his body and wing. This is not good, Angel said as went low to the ground. Why? Setsuna asked, worried. Because if my body builds up enough stress I change, Angel said. How much more stress? Setsuna said as an explosion sounded right near them, making him flinch. That, Angel crashed into the ground as an explosion singed his wings. Archangel, rise. Angel growled as his wings went from white and fluffy to turn to silver blades. This skin changed to a blue hue and his outfit turned into a black and silver costume. Sorry, Angel. Archangel said as he took off to the sky and flew at one of the sentinels. Vibranium, so how should I deal with them? Archangel smirked as he pulled out a metallic blade-like feather and threw it at the eye of one of them, making the feather fly into the head of the sentinel and then out the other eye. He grabbed the feather and flew down, decapitating it. So vibranium, not bad, eh? Angel smirked, but there is one thing, how did they get the vibranium? Archangel asked. How did they get vibranium, and enough for them to make an army of them? T'Challa shouted as he looked at the sentinels. I do not now, but I can tell you it is of Wakandan origin, Storm frowned. Yes, it is concerning, T'Challa frowned. Could it be Claw? Storm asked. No, I confirmed it with S.H.I.E.L.D., T'Challa nodded. It wasn't him since he was in their custody before when they first appeared. Then it must be someone else, Storm said, watching. Sir. A Dora Milaje soldier approached, worried. What is it? T'Challa asked. The waters of the rivers are rising, sire, the soldier said, making Storm and T'Challa shocked. I'll deal with him, Storm said. Thank you, my love, T'Challa nodded. Storm waited on the edge of the river. Glaring at it, Miss Storm. Koda asked, surprising Storm. Koda, what are you doing here? She gently asked. I was just walking around the town when I saw you, so my heroic side took over. Koda, so what's going on? An irritant, Storm sighed as they watched someone walk out of the water. Who is that? Koda asked as the man was now on the edge of the river and removed X's water from his hair and looked around as the Dora Milaje pointed spears at him. Storm, he said with a slight Spanish-sounding accent. Namor, Storm greeted him. Who is your friend? Namor asked as he pointed to Koda. Complicated situation, Storm told him. It is nice to meet you, Complicated, Namor smirked. What is it you want? Storm asked. What do you know about the machines entering Atlant? Ian Waters and stealing its vibranium resources? Namor asked. About as much as we know how they got our vibranium, Storm frowned. How is it that could get both Atlantean and Wakandan vibranium without our knowledge? Namor growled. I am not sure, we are looking into it, Storm frowned. It is in our best intention to make sure they do not find any more. Namor scowled. This isn't good, Cyclops said as he watched Archangel destroy yet another Sentinel. He landed and walked towards them, making Cyclops reach his visor with his hand, when Archangel stopped and they metal around his wings shat. Revealing his normal wings underneath as his skin returned to its normal hue. Did he? Angel asked. He saved me, Setsuna said, stepping forward. Oh good, Angel passed out. Easy, we got you, Cyclops said. Thanks. By the way, meet Setsuna Tokage, the girl we're looking for. Setsuna smiled. Hi, Setsuna waved. That spear, Rogue said, seeing it. Oh yeah, it's some kind of metal I found, Setsuna said, confused. Anti-metal. Cyclops gasped. What? Rogue and Gambit gasped. How? Jubilee shouted. I just found it in the cave. Really good at destroying those machines, Setsuna noted. Could that be why they're here? Cyclops asked. What? Angel asked. It's a rumor, but there is a substance which is made out of the three types of vibranium, Wakandan, Atlantean and Antarctic, Terbranium, supposedly. The only thing stronger than it is adamantium. Cyclops said. That's not good, Stark said as he looked into things. What isn't? Bruce asked. From what Doom 2099 gave us, apparently he's cracked the code for Trebonium. A highly damage-resistant alloy, close to adamantium, Stark explained. Anyway, there is no way to mix the three types all together, since the anti-metal properties of Antarctic Viber. Onium breaks apart the atomic bonds of anything metal. Most fusions are destructive in nature. That's not good, Bruce said before an alert went off. What is that? Cap asked, rushing in. Something I hoped wouldn't happen. The stolen MKII war machine armor. It's been activated, Stark frowned. In Italy. And that's bad. Why? Cap asked. It was stolen, by the Magia, Stark scowled. I'm getting it back. Count Nefaria was smiling as he was watching two Japanese mutants fighting his robotic fighters in an arena. One of them was wrapping them up in tap while the other one smashed him with a single fist. He wasn't sure how he found them, but he was glad he did. Sink E. Sir, are you sure about this? A Magia goon asked. I am, Count Nefaria nodded as he sipped his red wine. There was something odd in his mind. Are they any more of these mutants? We're not sure if they are actually mutants, the thug said before a small explosion was heard. What was that? The thug asked. Something's here, we don't know what it is. But it's, the goon was cut off, making the two nervous. All men to my arena now. He shouted. Meanwhile in the cage, Zero and Sato stopped fighting and panted. What was all that about? Sato asked. I'm not sure, hopefully something good, Zero gulped, for us. Yeah, but we have to wait until we find out what it is. Sato nodded before an explosion was heard, making white light shine through the door. WHO dares. The Count shouted, slamming his cane on the ground. I do, a mechanized voice said. And who are you? Nefaria sneered, as out of the cloud of dust while. A black and silver heavily armed Iron Man suit, War Machine. Check again, the voice scoffed as more of the cloud faded away to reveal the torso had a large white skull painted on it. Upon freezing it, Nefario's blood quickly froze. The Punisher. He exclaimed, the Punisher has a war machine suit. Nefaria shouted as the shoulder-mounted minigun spun up. Right as his goons rushed in, the Punisher locked onto the thugs and fired. Making the gun spit out a stream of hot lead, the next batch of goons were dealt with by the wrist-mounted shotgun and left-hand repulse. Whoa, the guys gasped. You two are from UA? Punisher asked as the missile launcher on the right shoulder swiveled around destroy the wall when 3 Magia elite officers were flung back. So, I have to get you out of here. Okay then, what are you doing here? Sato asked. These guys you two are just bonuses. Punisher admitted as he fired at more of them. So we're saved. Zero asked awkwardly. So stay down, Punisher told them as he walked forward. Using all of his arsenal. Oh great. Iron Man snapped as he flew in and looked at what appeared to be a war zone. Of course he had to be the one who got Rhodey's previous suit, he groaned. Frank, stand down. Not happening Stark. The Punisher shot back. What are you even doing here? Iron Man asked. I'm dealing with the last of the Magia, Punisher said. You know, they're just going to pop back up again, Iron Man said, like I care. Punisher snapped before cutting the line. Idiot, Iron Man growled as he flew down where Frank was, what was once a nice Italian W. In a state was now a war zone. Great, now I have to clean his mess up. He landed and looked around before a blast of red light broke through the wall as Count Nefaria and several of his men spilled out of it. Fringing at the Iron Punisher suit. Its heavy but steady footsteps making the Magia even more nervous than before. They opened fired, all of which bounced off of the Punisher's armor. Iron M. Inside and blasted them before walking over and held his hand up to Nefaria. Punisher locked his gun on him. Go on, make a move, he said as the sound of all of his guns cocking was heard. An hour later shield units had the Magia in custody. Okay, take it off, Iron Man said. No way, Punisher sneered. Okay, your funeral. Lockdown code broken hammer, Iron Man said making the Iron Punisher suit lock up. Damn it Stark, Punisher snapped. At least we got it back, Iron Man said before Zero and Sato walked out. Oh hey boys. Iron Man, Sato asked. What are you doing here? Zero asked. Getting my armor back. Stopping the Magia and saving you too. Wait, why are you in Italy anyway? Iron Man asked. We don't know, Zero shrugged. Well, you're safe now, Iron Man said as a Quinjet landed and some of the Avengers rushed out. Castle, Cap asked seeing the Iron Punisher. Good to see you too, sir, Punisher said as he walked into the Quinjet. Now we need to find your missing friends and rescue them, Iron Man said. There's one left wild, Nat said, and he's on Madripoor. Tetsu was running through the rain-soaked streets of Madripoor, looking over his shoulder as a group of trained mercenaries hunted him down. He ducked into an alleyway and tried to get away. He was lucky since a small amount of them ran past him. He let go of a breath he didn't know he was holding in. He also UNAW. Or of the guy who was high above him with a sniper rifle, watching him through his crosshairs. I see you, you little shiny bug, it won't be long now until you earn me the big bucks, a shadowy figure. Laughed as he tapped an earpiece he had in his ear. I have the target, yeah he's in my sights, send your team in, the mercenary said. A dark chuckle escaping from his lips as he watched the mercena rise double back and quietly sneak up on Tetsu. Move in, he said. Tetsu was looking around when he heard the rush of boots. He quickly activated his quirk, turning his body into steel. He clenched his fist and rushed in. The mercenaries hired to detain him stopped and deployed something on the ground, forcing Tetsu stay still. I can't move, he groaned, the metal of his body creaky. Ingen groaning as he tried to overpower whatever it is. The mercenaries walked forward, with high-tech guns pointing at him. Suddenly a louder thud was heard. Got you now, the leader said as Tetsu looked at him. Seeing he was wearing a dark bluish-purple costume with a navy blue helmet, the main feature that stood out was a white skull painted on the helmet and a pair of crossed bones on the chest. Who are you? Tetsu groaned. I'm Crossbones, he laughed deploying a large mechanical gauntlet and punching the UA student in the head, making a large clang. Oh man, you are too easy, Crossbones laughed. What do you want from me? Tetsu asked growling. Simple, your ass is worth quite a bit of money, especially since they're paying to make you a lab rat, he laughed knocking out Tetsu. Get him ready to move. Yes sir. the mercenaries said before thunder cracked overhead, making Crossbones weary as he pulled out a phone. Good work, Crossbones. Yes, I'll see you in an hour. And yes, I will have, Trask said as he walked into the main lab. Cornelius saw him. Please tell me we have another one on the way, Cornelius asked. We do, Trask smiled. Good, just what we need. The more data we have, the more we can make our Earth-616s more powerful, Cornelius smirked. Yes, and then we can make this world normal, Overhaul added in. I agree, but there are those who were secured by the Avengers, Cornelius frowned. Oh, don't worry, I have an idea on how to deal with them, Trask said. You're going to use the X-Sentinels, aren't you? Chisaki asked. I am, Trask said. Chisaki nodded. He then looked at the captured Quirk children. All I ask is if I can deal with one personally, Chisaki said. Oh, and what one is that? Trask asked. A boy called DEKU. He's the one who started my downfall. Now I seek to cancel his quirk permanently, Chiskai scowled. I'm not liking him, Kendo said. He's the bastard who kidnapped Eri, Shoji said. Then I really don't like him, Kendo said. So how are we going to get out of here? Honanuki asked. I'm not sure, Shoji sighed. Maybe we could break these cages, Kaminari tapped the glass. I don't think that can happen, Shoji frowned. That's cool. Komori smiled as she was talking to a tree. Who is she talking to? Honanuki asked. That weird tree mutant. Apparently she's able to understand him, while we can only hear the same 3 words. I am in Groot. Shota said. So he's trisyllabic, Kaminari sighed. So how long are you in here? She asked before getting the answer. You mean they're close by? She asked. Soon the doors to the base op. And they saw a man in armor walk in along with a team of soldiers. All of them were pulling a tank holding a familiar face. Tetsu's TU. The Class B shouted, oh, a friend of you. Trask asked. Good, this is good. With his quirk we can increase the defensive abilities of the X-Sentinels, Chisaki said. Good, Trask said as the tank holding Tetsu. You bastard. Kendo shouted as they were all shocked. Quiet down, children. The grown-ups are talking, Trask laughed. What no one noticed was a blinking light coming from Tetsu's pocket. The tree-looking creature smiled. I am Groot, he said. Your friends are coming. Komori asked, shocked. But how? Reiko asked as Groot smiled. I am Groot. Okay, we got most of the kids, but we still need to find those the Sentinels captured, Cap said as he and Tony looked at the globe. And thanks to something jamming as we can't even find them, Stark growled. Calm down, Tony, we will, Cap nodded. Thanks, Steve. I'm just worried that they might Ryan attack the mansion, Tony admitted. I doubt they would be that bold. Cap placed a hand on his Stark's shoulder. At least we got one of them to study, Stark smiled as he brought up the footage of the X-Sentinel brought back from the Savage Land. And hopefully it will give us the advantage we need, Cap nodded. Is the beacon active? Someone asked as they watched a monitor which had the Earth displayed on it. Yeah, it is, another voice said as they brought up an overlay where a red dot was blinking over North America. There, the Great White North, huh? The first person said as she zoomed in on where the red dot on the monitor was. It's going to get cold. People, we're just going for them, right? A woman asked. Indeed we are, but that doesn't mean we won't be getting cold, the leader said. You ready for this? The second voice said. I mean, you haven't been there since before. I know, and I am, he said before he looked at the monitor. We're coming. The captured students chat a whole heap of different scientists walk out holding tray. Kendo sneered as one got to her cell. Put this on, she said, giving Kendo a sports bra and a pair of knee-length shorts. Why should I? Kendo asked. Because we're getting more data on your metahuman abilities, the scientist said. So you can give it to the X-Sentinels. Kendo scoffed. Precisely, the scientist smirked. And if we don't? Kendo glared before she felt electricity surge around her body. Hey, they all shouted. That, but worse, the scientist smirked. Fine, we'll do it, Kendo said, taking them and stepping back into the cell, which became opaque to give her some privacy. This is bullshit, Kuwaro snapped. I agree, Fukidashi agreed. They're probably doing this so they can pick which quirks of ours will be more compatible with, Shoji said. That is not good. Several of ours could be a disaster if used all together, Aoyama sighed. I agree, but we have to do this otherwise we'll die, and that means they can just take it, Kendo sighed. So what should we do? Komori asked nervously. Get ready, Kendo said as she looked around, finishing changing into the test suit. Most of the girls were dressed the same as her while the guys were given gray sleeveless tops and black shorts. You all look ready, the female scientist smiled. I'm so getting her, Kendo muttered. Follow me, she ordered harshly, making the kids look uneasy before they followed her. This is not going to be easy to get out of, Kaminari said before the lights died. This is Dr. Zane, what is happening? The scientist asked. We're not sure, ma'am, a voice crackled over her radio. And just she was about to respond, music came over her radio. The sound of guitars and drums confused everyone there, but one of the prisoners smiled. I am Groot, he said in a seemingly teasing manner. While the soldiers were trying to find out what was happening to the power, the main hangar door was blown in, making all the soldiers point their guns at the entrance. Hey, waited for whoever knocked the door in. This is Dr. Zane, what is happening? The scientist asked. We're not sure, ma'am, a soldier said. Suddenly the radio's starting to play music, confusing the soldiers. Intruders. One of the soldiers shouted as a group of people walked in. The one in front wore a long red duster and a weird mask. What the? He asked before he was blasted back. Hello, Project Wide Awake. You have the honor of pissing us off when you kidnapped one of our friends. The man in red said. Now you're probably wondering who the flark we are, the man said as he walked into the room. I am Prince Peter of the Spartax Empire, or you may know me as Peter Quill aka Star-Lord, Star-Lord said as he walked into the room, spinning his guns. Now allow me to introduce the rest of the gang. First of all is the small, furry and quite angry critter. Say hello, Rocket, he said as a raccoon in an orange jumpsuit jumped up onto a crate and pulled out a device as big as he was and turned it into a big gun. Next to me is my second in command, and probably the most beautiful assassin in the galaxy, Gamora. He pointed to a green-skinned woman holding a sword. The big green guy with the red tattoos is Drax. Now he's from Earth, but after an incident with Thanos the Mad Titan, his mid was placed in the body of an alien warrior who was also taken down by Thanos. Star-Lord pointed to Drax, who just smiled and cracked his neck. The girl is Quasar, she can manipulate energy on a cosmic scale. The guy in gold is Adam Warlock, one of the strongest people in the galaxy, and finally there is Mantis who can see the future. So now that you've met the crew. Star-Lord twirled his guns and pointed them at the soldier. Where is Groot? Open fire, the lead soldier said as the other soldiers started to fire. Get to cover, Star-Lord shouted as he dashed to cover and peered up, firing his guns at a couple of soldiers. This is going real well, Quill, Rocket shouted over the gunfire. Oh, shut up, Star-Lord snapped back. Trask, Ross shouted as he swept into the room as Trask was panicking. I'm a little busy, General, please bother me some other time, Trask shouted. What is going on, who are they? Trask asked. Oh great, you're tangling with the Guardians now. Ross asked. The Guardians? Chisaki asked. They're a team of space-bound heroes. So the question is, why are they here? Oz asked before he saw the tree-looking creature. What is that? A plant-based mutant, or so we think, Trask said. Or it could be something else, Ross growled as he tried to release some tension in his neck. You okay there, General? Trask asked. Just a stiff neck, Ross brushed it off. The men then returned to the screen. Drax punched a soldier's gun so hard it shattered before grabbing the soldier by the shirt and throwing him into a pile of boxes, near where Rocket was firing from. Mantis then slid in behind Drax, and deployed a pair of blades that resembled her namesake. She used them to cut a few soldiers down before Warlock stepped in and waved his hand, forcing a few to go flying. So where is he? Star-Lord asked, firing his element gun in lightning mode to shock a few. I'm working on it, Quill, Rocket snapped as he pulled out a tracker. Damn it, we're only on level 1. What level is he? Drax asked, kneeing a soldier in the gut. 15, Rocket said. Okay, so we got who knows what down. There, Gamora growled as she slammed the pommel of her sword into a soldier's neck. Besides Groot, Rocket put the device away and started to open fire on them. Well, this is a wide-awake facility, so look for mutants and sentinels. Star-Lord said. Are you sure? Warlock asked as he froze a commander. I am, Star-Lord said. There is something going on, a woman with long black hair said. She looked over to a blonde slightly younger. Good, the blonde said. Jean, on my signal. You got it, the dark-haired woman said as the blonde turned to the rest of the group. Listen up, it's nearly go time. Now once we're free we go down to where they're holding the US students and the main computer system, the blonde ordered. Isn't that just dumb, having the things we're after on the same level? One of the team spoke up. It's mostly because the deeper something is, the better protected it is, another woman said as a box came out of the portal. We got to move now, the blonde said, as she placed a pair of red gauntlets on. She smiled and then looked at those who were captured with her, each one getting their gear on. You're just going into battle like that? The second woman asked. Yeah, the blonde smiled. More fun that way, she smirked. This is Dr. Zane, report, what is happening up there? Dr. Zane asked, increasingly annoyed. Looks like something happened, Kendo smirked. Kendo, Shoji warned. I would listen to your friend there, Dr. Zane scowled. The students glared back at her. What is happening? She shouted before the ceiling broke and a cloud of dust was thrown on everyone as a figure with a red, white and blue energy shield stood up, rolled her shoulders and glared at them. Who is that? Kaminari asked. I am not sure, Shota said as the new figure stood up. What? Dr. Zane G. ASPED before she was hit in the face by the energy shield. Good riddance, Kendo scoffed. Wait, I know you, Kaminari said. We as do I, Aoyama said. Hey, I'm Melissa Shield, aka Captain America. Well, the Captain America of Earth 6162 inches, she said. Wait, you're Captain America from our world? Shoji asked, but how does the work? Hunuki asked. I'll tell you later, Melissa smiled. So if you're Captain America, does that mean you're the leader of a team of Avengers? Kendo asked. I have my team upstairs, Melissa said. Who's on it? Komori asked. I am Groot, Groot smiled. Whoa, what is that? Melissa asked. That's Groot. He's a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Komori told her. Huh, Melissa said. Suddenly a portal opened up and out of it walked a team of heroes. Meet my Avengers. Melissa smiled. First up, she said, pointing to a woman with dark tanned skin and long white hair wear a high-tech catsuit, in mask with red energy lines, Black Widow, then to someone wearing a full blue UIT marked with a red spider-like skull pattern on it and a web-like cape, Spider-Man. Then she pointed to a guy in a red and black armored suit with devil horns, Daredevil, next to a high-tech suit of red, gray and gold armor, Iron Man. Next she indicated a man wearing a black suit with elbow blades, a fanged necklace and cat-like mask, Black Panther. Next to him was a man in a white version of Black Panther's suit with dark silver tiger stripes, White Tiger. The next person she introduced them to was a Korean man with very short hair and fang-like tattoos under his lips, wearing black body armor, gray pants, brown combat boots and a green trench coat, Blade. Then a man with long brown hair, hawk-like eyes in a black and purple costume saluted, Hawkeye. Hey guys, Hawkeye said. Hen nudged a woman in a white and silver Egyptian-themed costume, and next to me is Moon Knight. We are the others, Melissa asked as a second portal opened and 5 new people walked out. One of them looked like a biker chick with a psychedelic bandana. I'm Jean Strange, the woman said, flicking her silver and black hair out of the way. Next was a guy with blue skin and aquatic features. I am Roman the Submariner, he said. Then a martial artist wearing a green and gold GI with what looked like metallic arms up to his elbow bowed. This is Iron Fist. Hey Captain, a guy with bird wings under high arms walked up with a bag for Melissa. Oh sorry, I'm Falcon, he said. The last member was a woman in high-tech black and yellow armor. And I'm the Wasp, she said. And together, Melissa said as she walked out wearing sleeveless top with the top half being dark blue like chainmail with red and white stripes along the bottom half, instead of the navy blue sports bra. We're the Avengers of Earth 6162 inches, she said. Whoa, the US students said. Hey, we lost sight of John, Falcon 2099 said. Shit, Melissa growled. That's not good, Submariner 2099 said. We have to find him, Black Panther 2099 suggested. Wait, who is John? Shota asked. Our Hulk, Jean said. You have a freaking Hulk and you lost him. Tetsu snapped. Hey, you want to get out of here or not? Melissa asked. We should get out of here first, Iron Man 2099 said as he hacked into Wide Awake's system and got the location data. We're 15 clicks outside of Alberta, Canada, Iron Man 2099 informed them. Good idea, Melissa said. Shall we? Daredevil 2099 asked, smacking his baton on the ground making a sound wave, which he could see on his HUD. Over there is the door. What about our costumes? Kaminari asked. They're keeping it on level 11 inches, Iron Man 2099 said. Allow me to open the door. Iron Fist 2099 nodded as his fist started to glow brightly. Black Dragon Fist. He shouted, punches the wall, making it fly apart brick by brick. Let's move, Melissa said, shouted, pulling on her cowl and rushed off. Over here, Star-Lord used his element gun's wind setting to blow the soldiers back while Drax and Gamora stabbed them. That's all the soldiers on this level. Shall we head down? Star-Lord asked. Alert, non-human DNA deets. A voice said as a dozen 8-foot robots land from above. What are those? Mantis asked. Sentinels. Warlock frowned as he used his quantum magic to freeze time. Great, this is all we need, Star-Lord said as he switched to electricity from wind. Rocket, you got any grenades? Sure do, but they recovered in vibranium, Rocket sneered. Oh really? Drax asked. Drax, this is not a good idea, Gamora sighed. I know, but we can still rip them apart. Drax shouted as he rushed forward. Quasar sighed and created a couple of energy swords, throwing them at the X-Sentinels, which were impaled by them. Drax was onto one of them and started to pull at the head, ripping the head off. He caught a grenade from Rocket and threw it down in the hold and slammed the head back on, jumping off of it, rolling with the speed, and watched as the Sentinel started to spark as it fell to pieces. Doesn't seem like much, Gamora scoffed while Warlock pulled one apart, piece by piece. These are different to Sentinels of the past, he said, frowning. I agree, Star-Lord called out, shocking a few of them. He then went over and looked at the plating, vibranium. So, that is why they are tougher to kill, Drax said as he tried to stab one, but his blade stopped cold. How would they get that? Rocket asked, using an EM blast. I'm not sure, there are only a few places to get it here on Earth, Star-Lord responded. This way, Melissa said as she and the captive were running along the hallway. Daredevil 2099 scanned the area. Their gear is in here, he nodded to a door, only to kick it in. The UA students rushed in and found their equipment. Kendo smiled. Guys on the left, girls on the right, Jean called out, got it. They said, going to their sides to get dressed. Hey, no peeking, Kendo shouted. We got it, Kaminari responded. Things are going so well so far, Wasp 2099 shrugged. Yeah it is. We haven't run into any of the big wigs, Melissa said. That's probably because of the fighting on the top level, Moon Knight 2099 pointed out. Yeah, who's fighting? White Tiger 2099 asked. From the looks of it, the ones running this base and someone breaking in, Iron Man 2099 said. I am Groot, Groot said. Okay, they call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man 2099 said. You can understand him? Melissa asked. Built-in universal translator, Iron Man 2099 tapped his helmet. I am Groot. Groot asked, shocked. Yes I do, Iron Man 2099 said as the UA students walked out ready to rumble. This way, Melissa said as she looked around the corner as the UA group ran past her while the 2099 Avengers covered the rear. Sam, you been able to reach John? Negative, Daredevil 2099 said before he frowned and looked around. Someone is coming, he said. I wonder who it is. Moon Knight 2099 asked as an elevator was heard, and out of it walked a general. The UA students were shocked by who it was. Vlad Sensei. Komori asked. The Class B smiled. That's not Vlad Sensei, Shoji said as the man got closer. It was then they saw that this man looked like their teacher, only he didn't have lower fangs their teacher had and instead had a mustache. He reached for a gun. Spider-Man 2099 quickly fired a webline at the gun and pulled it out of his hand. Stand down, Spider-Man 2099 said, you're facing the Avengers. Oh, you think I'm scared? Well, let me show you who you are messing with. The man strained as his eyes became light blood red fireworks. He then started to grow as his skin turned blood red. His smile became more and more wild. No, Melissa gasped, stepping back. What is that? Kendo asked as the general's transformation had stopped and he looked at the students, unleashed. Hing a roar of rage and a wave of high heat. That is a monster. Aoyama shouted. No, he's worse, Iron Man 2099 frowned. He's the Red Hulk. Thanks for watching.